wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. It is today, folks. 2025. It is. All right, sounds pretty good. Welcome back to the program. This is Chris live in central Pennsylvania. Listen, with the video success we've had for the past month and a half, 2 months, I should say, December and January, and certainly the past 10 days, most of the views I'm getting on my channel aren't coming from my live streams, but I feel an obligation or a sense of responsibility to my live audience who has loyally tuned in here, even when my videos get 100 and some views. So I am trying to continue doing this. So thank you for being here. I want to thank all of you for being with us today. It's been a very long few days. I finally got a few hours sleep earlier this morning after being up covering the clueless Democratic Alliance press conference in which they completely demonstrate an ability to not be able to read the room, not understand what's actually going on around them, or simply not care. Take your pick. Maybe it's one or both of those issues, but the bottom line is they clearly are out of touch with reality. They're living in a fantasy world. And of course, I'm sure John Steenhuisen will go tonight. Cyril Ramaphosa will pat him on the forehead like a good little boy and tell him just enough to make him go, oh, look, the president said we can do a reset. Watch. Anyway. So we'll get to that in a moment. Let me say hello to everybody in the chat. Jan van Riebeck is back all the way from the 17th century. Good to see you again. Hendo's in from Pull Arc Precisions here once again. Yellow Omyan is anti-Maria darom nog okay. I don't know. I'll have to ask the descendants of the colored community. All right. Tony's in from the oil sands. Christo Els is back. Greg says I can pronounce his name in the German fashion. Well, it's not exactly a German name, but Woclich, I guess. If there was an ICH, there would be Woclich, be weekly, be Woclich. But I guess we can go Woclich, but I apologize, Greg. That's Polish is not my strong suit. All right, who else we got here? Saw her a few weeks ago in Menlin. She was a bit off, but WhatsApp every day. Mentioned about Fundersteel. Simon Fundersteel. Okay, gotcha. You're a funny guy. Alan Coates is here. George is back. Hey, George, haven't seen you in a bit. Pablo Charlie's here. Eric is back once again. Eric, I hope that your mobility is increasing and the physical therapy is working out well. Who else we got here? George Steinbergen from Heckport, and Dylan Comberg is always here. Hazel Pony's back. Welcome. Good to see you again. And Nick Muller, Les Van Ice, Vilma Erasmus. Man, my eyes are really bothering me now because of a little bit of sleep I got there. Hazel said hi to me. Well, back at you. Charmaine is here. Good to see you there. Allison Johnson, I missed you. Rebel Canners. Oh, my goodness. We've got the prepper crowd in here tonight. How's it going? Or today, I should say. For us, it's today here. Odin's Viking. Welcome back. Excuse me. Who else we got? I'm feeling a little warm in this hoodie. Ugh. As soon as I take it off, I'll be cold. Mark Purchase is back again. Hello, Mark. Jan Vidionen, Kevin Ziller. Okay. Erica wants to get a hold of Rebel Canners. That's interesting. I'm not sure what that's all about, but good luck contacting each other. You could do it through the WhatsApp or the Telegram groups. Remember, in Telegram, you can hide your mobile phone number, so you just have an identity if you want to do that. Yep. All right, so who else we got there? Robert Rankin is back. Reset will mean more minister posts for other parties. Yeah, maybe just more ministry seats, mostly for the ANC is what's going to happen. And the ANC will say, well, we tried to make it work, and see, nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, I got a WhatsApp. I'm like, what's that? This is strange. It says so-and-so and so-and-so meet. I'm like, huh? This is like when Harry met Sally. Well, where's come on. Canth Pile just put a message out on Twitter. I want to see what that was, if it'll come up here. I hate this because it won't. There it is. Okay. Oh, that's not it. Come on. I hate Twitter. So Gareth Cliff is saying that disgraceful, useless, incompetent government of ours is now complaining because Trump has cut foreign aid. And it turns out 100% of our HIV-positive people get their ARVs from the U.S. Well, I've been saying this for years. Freaking people shadow banning me and ignoring what I have to say. I've been telling you this forever. It's very frustrating when people don't listen. I've told people that we're paying for antiretrovirals. And, you know, as long as people get the free ride, nobody cared. All right. So, getting stronger. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, no, I'm sure it is. Yeah, my mobility's down. By the way, folks, for those who didn't catch the shorts, because I saw very few views on them, I went skiing yesterday. First time since the Rugby World Cup in New Zealand in 2011. Like something popping out of my forehead there. I went skiing here in central Pennsylvania, and it was an inauspicious event to start off with. I got there. I get it for free because I bought a season pass, and so this is good at every one of Vail resorts around the world, including in Austria and Canada, Whistler and Colorado and Utah, and here in Pennsylvania where they have at least one facility. It's not a big one, but it's fine, actually. So I went there. I paid a small fee for that for the year. They have one for veterans and military. It's nice of them. So I took advantage of it. It's kind of my treat for myself. Yesterday is the first time that I've done something for myself, I think, since October. It's the last time I took a few minutes and I took a breath. It's an epic pass, Christo. And took a breath and did something for myself. And I went skiing. It was a beautiful day, too. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was above freezing. It was lovely. I hadn't been skiing since 2011, and I was significantly younger back then, nearly 14 years younger. And plus, I'm dealing with this hip issue or whatever's going on in my leg. And it was, so I go up the lift, I pop off, and on the left is the intermediate, on the right is the beginner. And so I decided, let me go down to beginner. Well, it actually wasn't a beginner. It was also an intermediate. But anyway, so I went down that, and it was steep when you first come off the lift, and I went about 15 feet and lost control of my skis and fell. Couldn't get up. Had to pop the binding to get up, to release my boot from the ski, got myself back up, steadied myself, turned, went about 3 swings, and right back down. So twice in the span of less than 5 minutes, I fell. All right, I did 16 runs down the slopes for the day. 16, got my money's worth because I had to pay for the skis. I had to rent them. 16 runs, and I never fell again. And by the 8th run, I was going down full speed, leaning forward like I was doing frickin', alpine skiing in the Olympics. I was going fast, too. Scared myself once or twice. Even went through some slaloms. I went through a big pipe they've got out there. That was pretty cool. You come out of the pipe and you hit a little, and you go flying up in the air. That was pretty cool. Pretty gutsy of me. The point is that I was struggling with the skis, not working with the skis when I first got back out on the slopes. I was like, I told myself after the second fall, okay, stop. If you only do one run, you only do one run. But relax. Don't fight the skis. And it took me a little while to get back into the rhythm. But after a couple runs down, I was doing it. So I did over half of those runs down the intermediate slopes. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anyway, it's been a long time. I thought you might be an Aspen, considering the increase in viewership. Pablo. First pist was a black diamond slope. Yeah, Garrett, when I first started skiing in my early 20s in Germany, which is where, but that's what I have to say. So I went skiing yesterday. I'm out there all by myself on the slopes, right? And the people who work there for Vail are very friendly. The ones who are, the medics running around and the trainers and teaching people how to ski and everything and helping people out. Very helpful. I mean, people, the lady saw me fall. She came over, you okay? And she was with a group of people. I said, no, I'm fine, man. And I got back up. And then apparently she was keeping an eye on me twice later in the day on different lifts. She's like, hey, she was behind me in a lift. Or I came out and she's there and she said, hey, you're doing really well. I said, what do you mean? She said, no, I've been watching you. You know how to ski. So you just had a bumpy start. I said, yeah, it's been a while. But so I started in my early 20s. And so the strange thing for me was that I went skiing yesterday, and every time I came down to get in the queue, there were short queues to get into the chairlift or to wait in line or, whatever, everywhere I went, or top of the hill. I kept expecting to hear people speaking German. Nobody was speaking German. I mean, I'm not accustomed to skiing when people aren't speaking German. It was either in Austria, Germany, or Switzerland where I went skiing in the past, or Italy where they speak German. So I was just, nobody's speaking German. At the end of the day, I'm like, this has been an interesting day, but there's a strange thing here. Nobody's speaking German. Actually, Mark, I thought I'd be very sore today. I'm not because I spent most of the day not fighting. I did expect it because by the 16th run, I was knackered. And at that point, after not having skied for so long, and legs being tired, not a good idea to keep, I considered a black run. I was like, and then if I hurt myself, I'm going to feel stupid. So skiing is great if you know how. I've only ever skied once in Kirkwood near Tahoe when I was living and working there. Also, Vail Resort around Tahoe. Yeah, okay. Yeah, my legs are fine for now, but I mean, you give it time. It's been less than 24 hours, but I don't feel any lactic acid buildup if that's what you're getting at, but we'll see. Spicy Meatballs back. I'm great. Hope you are too. Spent the last year working to elect Trump. Well, a lot of us been doing that. All right. Yeah, Sonny fought the skis the wrong direction. That's correct. All right, folks. What else? I suppose good. What's this? Department of Education meeting, then parent-teacher evening. Only got home at 7 p.m. Oh, okay, Allison. All right. Did your parents teach? No, Holden. My parents didn't teach me to ski. We grew up in a variety of circumstances, including foster homes, poverty, middle income, and rural. No money. There was no money. I played varsity sports, and in America, it's the norm for high school students to, you get a ring, you get a varsity ring for your sport when you do it, and you get a varsity jacket. You wear the jacket, put your letter on there, the letterman's jacket, and stuff like that. And then in most people in America, it's the norm that when you become a 16-year-old, you get a car. I mean, that's pretty common. That wasn't our experience. No, I didn't get my varsity ring. I didn't get my graduation ring. I didn't have a car, any of that. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that, no, teach me to ski. No, I didn't learn to ski as a youth or learn to ice skate. I went ice skating in my late 20s and taught myself to ice skate in 20 minutes. I fell down several times that day, but I learned. But I mean, I'd already been roller skating. I did do that a bit as a kid, especially here in Pennsylvania. When I lived in Scranton, went roller skating quite a bit. I just applied the same techniques, which weren't quite exactly right for that. But I'd later played inline hockey. I'd bought myself some inline skates to play hockey, rollerblades, which is the brand back then, and used to play hockey with rollerblades. And so that also kind of applied even better than the roller skates. So that kind of helped me when I learned how to ice skate. But I learned how to ice skate and ski on my own. And I was on black slopes the second time I was out. So, but I mean, that's not where I spent all my time. I would do this occasionally to be adventurous. But no, parents didn't teach me squat on that. That's for sure. Some angry people. What's this? 3 ones is enough for me, says Tony. And then I got skates. That was way better. Many are skating at Rideau Canal, the world's longest skating canal. Okay. Wasn't able to drive until 23. Well, I was able to drive as a teenager, but I wasn't allowed to do it on roads. I mean, drove tractors and pickup truck on the farm, but and then driving in the Army. But I went to university. I had no driver's license. That's a long story, but not important right now. Yep. Are you a member of SBB? I thought I saw you on the group, your photo anyway. No, I'm not a member, Bernard. However, I've been involved working with them, interviewing them, and participating in their events. So I know Venant Dutoy, and the reason that I have any association, affiliation, if you want to call it, that's not really, it's just if I worked with them in some respect, is because my viewers asked me to interview him. And I recognized the name, and it's just 5 years ago, and I looked it up, like, oh yeah, that's the guy who was a POW in Angola when they tried to blow up the refinery there. So I reached out to him from someone, and he agreed to come on the program. I interviewed him. At the time, I didn't know he had anything to do with Sightlanders. That was, I mean, there was this Bois Legion, Sightlanders, and all this other stuff, and all these people running around like these groups are going to save South Africa. And so I interviewed anybody as long as they weren't avowed racist, or just turds. And so I interviewed him. He was a fantastic guest. We talked about his experience, about how they had to put a bone into his arm, because his bone was shattered from being shot, and how he had to pace back and forth in his prison, and the cigarettes and this, that, and the other. It was something else, the condensed milk stuff. Anyway, so it was a fantastic guest. And so towards the end of it, the Sightlanders topic came up, and I'm like, oh, or maybe it was afterwards. I saw that he was associated with the Sightlanders when Gustav Müller was in charge of the group. And so I said, can I get you on? Because people have been asking me to talk to the Sightlanders, and now that I've talked to you, I'm comfortable talking to you. I don't know any of these other people. So he came on, and we talked about it, and then we struck it up, and I asked if he wanted to do a segment. So we created Fireside with the Colonels. And so we started that program, and we did it fortnightly. It didn't quite work out that way, but we did it frequently. And then on my trip back to South Africa, they invited me to come to Uppington, where they were based at. And that's when Gustav Müller and the whole group was still together. So I went up there. I was greeted. I was treated very well. They took care of my accommodation. We had a big event, and I was a featured speaker there. And I was like being a celebrity. South Africans wanted my autographs. Everybody wanted to get a photo with me. It was really, really cool. It was especially rewarding and endearing. But that was the start of my adventure back in South Africa, first time after the COVID scam. And then we did another event up in Pretoria East, and then the other 2 trips, it just didn't work out. So we've done a few of these events. We're supposed to do one up in Polokwane, Petersburg, but that one just didn't work out. But we did one in Pretoria East. Anyway, so then the group split in 2, and for a long time, Wynand wasn't able or willing to do a collaboration, so we didn't do the Fireside with the Colonels for a long time. Now we do it episodically because, I mean, you know, it's not, I don't know that we have a lot to talk about all the time. He's got his own program. I've got mine. So I'm not a member of it, but I do have the shirts and I do have a coat, and they gave those to me as a guest speaker. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. So did I answer your question about that? Who asked that? Asked that question. Let's back up here somewhere. All right. Boy, I feel really warm in this hoodie. Okay, that was there already. So how do we get down here? Oh, that's where I was at. Okay. Mark purchase. Okay. I noticed the sunburn on your face. You clearly were. Oh, can you see that? Can you see the? Yeah, I was. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not going down that hill with the wind whipping into my eyes and drying them out. You know, that's not cool. All right. So, yep. Oh, that's what it was. Bernard Herbert asked me. So, Bernard, did I answer your question satisfactorily? Okay. Okay. I have nothing for or against the group. I have no beef with the Sightlanders. I mean, Gustav Müller, I haven't seen them since that initial time. My affiliation or relationship was with Wynand du Toit, and so it comes from that. And also some of the people who are part of that group, a handful of them. Do you know the peeps from The Office? No, Bianca, I do not. Bianca, I do not know the peeps from The Office, and I don't like that show. Remember, I saw you wearing SBB shirt. Yeah, that's correct. I did wear it. Well, they gave me a shirt they gave me a coat there, and they gave me a shirt. They gave me a cap. Yeah, so that was. I went all that way. Now, to be fair, and just full disclosure, they offered to pay for my flight up there from Joburg to Uppington, which wasn't cheap. It's like $350 round trip. That was not cheap. Thousands of rand. Anyway, so they offered to pay for that, but they were unable to pay for it at the time, and actually got reimbursed like a year later or something like that. Was it a year later or 6 months later? Maybe it was 6 months later, but they eventually did reimburse me for that, so I appreciate it. It's very kind of them. But we have people come from all over the country for that. So my only payoff was the clothing, the merch, which is fine. We go ice skating at the Carlton Hotel. Did you also lean to the snowplow watch my dad hug a tree with yeah, the snowplow thing, it's not it. It's really just lifting the edges of the skis back and forth. That's what controls things. And Scranton, New York is still there. Yep, been there. And there's Tony Nage. Well, there's a super chat, 20 Canadian dollars, man. Just a second. Hang on. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Merrill Lynch. Yeah, put another $20 Canadian into the oil sands. Yeah, thanks. All right. Confirm the trade? All right, thank you very much. The money just went back into Alberta. Goodness. Neville, I was lucky with driving. Learned to drive when I was around 9 or 10. Well, that's pretty cool. Arctic is here. It's driving tractors and horse riding from young. Yeah, definitely horse riding too. In Zimbabwe as well. Not sure what happened to that. I'm not sure what's going on there. SBB is broken away from... Yeah, no, I know that. I know that. Yeah, Sightland Burgerlijk Scamming. Yeah, it's the Sightlanders Civil Defense Organization. I know that. My favorite Gustav is Petro, the world's biggest ass. Oh, my goodness. All right, so where are we at here? Catching up in the chat. We're going to get to news here, folks. Hang in there. Anne-Marie Nell's membership is coming up. I'm a cheapskate. Oh, here you go. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Oh, she's just saying hello. Well, thank you, Anne-Marie. But, ladies and gentlemen, I've retold this story, recounted it several times. But if I'm wrong, correct me. Maybe it's a senior moment. I'm not 22 anymore. But the day that my original channel at Real Chris Wyatt was removed from YouTube illegitimately by the scumbags, the one who's since died of cancer. When that happened, it was Anne-Marie Nell who sent me a message like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And Chris, where's your channel at? Where's your channel? What happened to your channel? Your channel's gone. I'm like, what? And I got up, and sure enough, it was gone. And I appealed it for the first time, and I was told to foot sec, piss off, be gone. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries. Begone, you silly Englishman! I fought in your general direction. Yeah, that's what I was told. But I'm not an Englishman. And I don't hang outside castles. Yeah, please hit the easy, yeah. Oh, we want me to hit the easy button? Okay, I can do that.
That was easy.
Oh, yeah, easy. Hit the like button. You know, there's 238 people here. We've been here for about 20 minutes, 24 minutes, and 120 people here. 238 have been here total, so let's see how many show up. Anyway, like I said, I like doing the lives for people. Is Vanna still mining in Luanda? He was in Angola recently. Yep. I asked him if he wanted to come on, and something was going on, so we may have something going on. I've got several people lined up to come on the program. In fact, I'm not sure. Let me check and see if Neil, hang on a second. I need to do that real quick. Hang on a second. Neil DeBeer sort of committed to coming on the program today, but I'm not sure if he really did. So I'm sending him a note right now because he should be actually on air, so or recording, one of the two. I'm not sure which. Anyway, yeah, Dafatai. Okay, Shawnee Gross is here. Welcome, Shawnee. How's it going? How's it in Minnesota? Yeah, no, we're having a lutefisk today up there. Went some ice fishing on Lake Wobegon. It was pretty wild. African, I saw 2 jets flying over Pretoria. Only 2 jets. Yeah, well, they only have 1 Gripen that actually flies, so I couldn't have been that. Dan is here, says hello. And Anna Marinell, Rudolph Aerofair. Well, I picked the right proper time to join the stream. Well, I guess, Rudolph. Well, thanks for joining. Thank you for joining us. I'm not sure what made it a special moment. Anything on Rolf, the Trader Meyer? What do you mean, contacting him? No, had no luck there. It's going to be 48 degrees Fahrenheit today. Whew, that is a heat wave in Minnesota. I'm heading to the dentist for a bit. Tomorrow it's a field trip to roller skating. There you go. There you go. All right, so let's talk about what happened earlier today. And by the way, the Trumpsters added, oh my goodness, we have so much news about Donald Trump. Woo, baby. Donald Trump is just boom, 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 boom. The hits keep coming. I feel it. It's coming, man. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Whew, the heat radiating from Washington, D.C. is just unbelievable. Coming off that orange man bad head, just really scorching the leftists, man. Jacques Vint says, what's your view of Joel Pollack maybe becoming ambassador, and will it be a good thing? Yeah, I don't know if it'd be a good thing for minorities. I think Joel Pollack, based on what I know of him, I don't know him personally. I asked him to come on my program a few years ago before most people had heard of him. Early days of Breitbart for him, and I didn't hear back from him, so it's whatever. It's fine. I have his book. In fact, it's right here. Funny you should ask that question. That book is right here. Red November by Joel Pollack. There you go. So there you go. Yeah. So Joel Pollack. Okay. So will it be good for for U.S. in South Africa? I think sure, it'd be great. But for minorities, I don't think so. My experience is that Joel Pollack seems to spend a lot of time flogging his personal origins. I don't want to say this wrongly because people take it the wrong way. Joel Pollack, of course, is Jewish, and I think that his concerns will be far greater focused on Jewish concerns than they will be on minority South Africans. Of course, Jews are a minority, but you get my point. But yeah, all things being equal, he'll be fine. He's got access. Trump knows who he is, and that's why I won't be the ambassador of South Africa. So, yeah, I mean, he's not a bad guy. He's a lot better than a lot of Marks, that's for damn sure, and better than Ruben Brigidi. Yep. And I have no animosity towards Ruben Brigidi. I used to work for him in Addis Ababa. So, anyway. The arrests and deportations are picking up, Pablo. They are picking up pace every day. Will the 10th Mountain be given deployment to southern border? I don't know, Holden. Probably they'll get rotated through. The 82nd Airborne just showed up there. So, yeah. But they're only sending like 1 brigade at a time. So, you got 3 brigades per division, so it could take as much as a year and a half before we see the 10th Mountain down there. And not the only division. There's plenty of others can go. 1st Cav is in Texas. They're very close. They could go. No, he's not South African, Neville. He's born in South Africa, but came as a toddler to the United States. He's got an American accent, grew up in America. His parents are South African, so yeah, he's not a South African. Steak home baby. DeepSeek is amazing. I can't stop using. Really? Well, it's Chinese. If you like getting in bed with the Chinese, that's cool. All right. So, in fact, I almost bought a external solid state drive, not solid state, but hard drive. I wish it was solid state. They had a 1 terabyte for $84, and it popped up on my Amazon. I'm like, never heard that brand before. Looks like it might be Chinese. And I looked, I said, what's a big one? They have 5 terabytes for just 124. I'm like, well, 124 for 5 terabytes? Yeah, baby. And I looked it up, Chinese. No thanks. No thanks. Says the guy who's on TikTok. Yeah, Arctic, and my TikTok is fenced off. And I told you why I was on TikTok. There's a reason for being on there. Absolutely a reason for being on there. Yeah. So you're talking about an artificial intelligence machine which is manipulating you, vice a TikTok, which a cogent adult is capable of filtering out the nonsense. Yeah, no, AI is becoming so pervasive so quickly that you run a risk with anyone with AI, whether it's NVIDIA or it's DeepSeek. Jaya says, how's it? Thoughts on Denmark increasing security spend in the Arctic? Well, that's exactly what Trump wanted. So someone posted on Twitter yesterday, I guess we're kind of getting to the news. Someone posted on Twitter yesterday about, well, Trump, someone famous actually, and they said, Trump's tariffs are going to backfire badly. I'm like, really? Okay, let's run through the list of Trump's tariffs and tariff threats. Okay, so Trump actually put tariffs on Chinese steel products in the first term, and it slowed down China's imports and didn't lead to an increase in prices here. So that worked. Let's go to the current situation. Trump threatened tariffs against Canada, and it led to the resignation of Justin Trudeau. Couldn't got a better outcome there. Trump threatened tariffs against Mexico. Mexico's Claudia Sheinbaum ran her mouth, and then she backed down. And not only is she now cooperating with U.S. authorities in taking back foreign nationals who are not U.S. citizens who invade our country, they're building camps down there, and they're starting to patrol their borders better. So Mexico backed down. Colombia authorized the arrival of 2 U.S. military aircraft with an aircraft clearance, and then while in flight, the president, on a stunt, tried to show how macho man he is, a bad hombre, and told the world, no, they're denied clearance to land. Well, Trump slapped tariffs on him from the golf course. Trump was on a golf course, and he destroyed Colombia. Now, can you imagine that? Trump decided the fate of a country on the golf course. Mr. President, this is a par 3. Hang on a second. I've got to spank Colombia. Colombia. We don't need your coffee. We don't want your cocaine. 25% tariffs, no visas. Your diplomatic status is revoked until you resume these flights. Yeah. So the bad hombre, Gustavo Petro, was exposed. So that's another tariff. That worked. So Greenland. Trump has threatened tariffs, or even jokingly an invasion of Greenland, to get what he wants, which is better access to Greenland and better defense up there, because Denmark is a freeloader. They're a freeloader. They're also a carbon criminal. Denmark is a major oil producer. Nobody ever talks about Denmark and oil, but they suck it out of the North Sea, that and natural gas, and they just get a free pass because they're such lovely people, wonderful people. Yeah, okay, not so much. I love Denmark, by the way. I have Danish ancestry. Well, Jacques, we're being blamed already, and it's already being turned into a racist bunch of nonsense because we have cut all aid to South Africa. That's horse manure. We've suspended new projects and new spending. People need to actually read the order and stop lying. DeSantis says Agricultural Commission takes over his deportation responsibility against his will. Says Ag Commission will most likely ignore undocumented farm workers. Yeah, I saw that, Steak baby. I don't know what's going on in Florida, but I heard him talking on the news the other night. So I don't know what's going on there, but Florida needs to get control of itself. And yeah, that's because agriculture relies overwhelmingly on criminal alien invader labor, undocumented, illegal, non-tax paying thieves who have no business in this country. We have a process for visas for agricultural workers to come here. South Africans come here in the droves to be agricultural workers under their visa. It's H-2B or something like that. I'm not sure which one it is. And then we have lots of people from Central America, particularly Mexico, who've always come up to California in the summertime to pick fruits and vegetables and to do farming. So we have a process, but these people just choose to ignore it, and the people employ them because they pay them less than a living wage, and they get away with it. So any employer who knowingly hires criminal alien invaders should be prosecuted for felony, aiding and abetting of a wanted felon. That's exactly what it should be. Doesn't the Danish royalty own Shell? I don't know about that. VPN is only good for watching shows in other countries. Yeah, that's about all it's good for. Or sometimes purchasing things if you're blocked from purchasing. Well, golf course is a much better decision-making spot than a strip club. Well, yeah, or a casino for that matter, I would say. It's all fake. None of your data is secure. Well, it's all a matter of perspective. and proportion there, PK. Yes, your data is secure. The question is from whom? Is it secure from the National Security Agency? Don't hold your breath. Is it secure from the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians? Don't hold your breath. Harboring felons, that's right. All right, okay, so let's get to this news now. We've been at this for 33 minutes. 4 more South African soldiers were killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. That raised the total in the past week to 13, plus dozens wounded. That's on top of 7 soldiers killed there last year. Why is South Africa in the Congo? No one can answer this question satisfactorily. No one. Today at their press conference, the Democratic Alliance, instead of calling for withdrawal from the Congo, simply expressed their concern, remorse, and respect for the fallen. Well, I don't know how these soldiers fell, but the videos that I've seen come out of the Congo show no soldier skills whatsoever. It's an embarrassment, and I don't know if it's a contributing factor why they died, but they have no business in the Congo. What is the Congo providing for South Africa? Nothing. Make South Africa great again. Get your soldiers out of the Congo. And while you're at it, take your observers out of Eritrea. Anyone that's left in Burundi, get them out. Stop interloping. Stop being Africa's indigenous neo-colonial power, ANC. That's what you are. You are South Africa's indigenous neo-colonial power. I'm so sick of these leftist hate wankers attacking America. By the way, I have an article coming out in the Daily Friend tomorrow. I don't think it's out today. Let me double check. He said tomorrow, but I think he meant tomorrow. And that's not in today. Just a second here. So, Daily Friend. There we go. Let me see. South African soldiers left to die in the DRC. Yeah, mine's not up yet. There's one up now. It's kind of a leftist from Evo Vector. His is up, but mine will be up tomorrow, apparently, on the Daily Friend, and it'll be talking about the executive orders. Anyway, so 4 more soldiers died. Why are they in the Congo? Why are they in the Congo? Department of Defense today said a mortar launched by M23 rebels landed at Sandef base, killing 3 soldiers. It's allegedly fired in the direction of the Goma airport, near where they've set up their base. According to Sandef, a 4th soldier was injured in the battles over the past 3 days, succumbed to his injuries in hospital. That brings the death toll to 13 Sandef soldiers in the last few days. It's after 9 soldiers were killed on Friday. Why are they there? Why are they there? Why are they there? Meanwhile, Sandef addressed a viral video which purports to show Sandef soldiers surrendering to rebels raising a white flag. I haven't watched that, so I expect Southern soldiers are out of the country because it's cheaper. No training costs or maintenance costs. Pretty sure someone else is paying for their Congo. Yes, well, that's a moneymaker, but it's actually cost the government of South Africa $100 million in the last 18 months, so I'm not sure how it's a moneymaker. That money could be used to pay for antiretrovirals or pay for training and facilities for the military in South Africa. The government of South Africa spends a paltry 0.74% of its GDP on its military. If you have a healthy military that's well trained and equipped and prepared this moment, you have to spend 2.5% to 3% just to keep them functional and operational and not fall behind. When you spend 0.74 for a military that's been neglected for 3 decades, you might as well disband the South African National Defense Force. It serves no purpose whatsoever. It serves no purpose whatsoever. People do not realize that if someone wants to take you down, all these security companies for internet stand for chances to be able to just stop. Yeah, no, it is. No, it's not for noobs. It's the way to make money. McAfee, Kaspersky, these are companies that just make tons of money. Yep. They're tons of money. And remember back in the day, because Microsoft was so lazy and they had a monopoly in the marketplace, they didn't even bother to put features into your software. You didn't used to have any way to defragment your hard drive. You had to get that from third-party apps. You had no way to clean your registry. Microsoft offered no way to clean up its bloated registry, which slows your computer down over time each time you put stuff on your computer and take it off, particularly installations of software. And so Microsoft didn't provide these tools. They didn't provide the most basic tools. When they first came out with Internet Explorer, it barely showed images. It was so pathetic. So pathetic. So it took competition to drive it. Microsoft didn't offer you a POP3 mail client with the browser or any third app. No, that all came from Netscape. And Microsoft has, and we're going to talk about Microsoft is potentially going to buy TikTok, the U.S. operations TikTok. I'll get to that later in the news. But Microsoft has ruined everything. Front Page. Does anybody remember Front Page? Does anybody know Front Page? Anybody? I used to use Front Page to build websites 25, 30 years ago. And Microsoft ruined that and just made it untenable. It's crap. Microsoft ruined so many other things. They've ruined LinkedIn. LinkedIn was fantastic until they bought it. Pumalani says, go Eagles. All right, well, Pumalani, that's not my cup of tea. I quit watching the NFL. Why do South always look like NFL linebackers, though? They don't look like linebackers to me. Microsoft also is just a monopoly. Now you have to upgrade your software. Exactly. You used to pay for a license, and you had, you buy Microsoft Word, you pay a fortune for it, between $200 and $500 for a copy of it, and then you have it. Now they've forced us into an annual subscription nonsense. Otherwise, you can't use the software. They're just garbage. Mike Matthews says, front page. I'm old, but not that old. Well, look it up. Look up front page. Web building software. Website building software. Yeah, SharePoint Designer is now replaced front page, or call it SharePoint Destroyer. And yes, I use front page. There you go, Levin. So you know what I'm talking about. And they ruined that. Front page was actually not bad, and they ruined it. The only thing that they've actually they've improved is a little bit of the Office software, but their Copilot sucks. Use that cock at work. I also use Office Libre. Yeah, I used to have Office Libre installed. It's on a different computer, not on this one. And also had WordPerfect. You could still get that. Corel had that for a long time, and they screwed it. Corel, Canadian company. So Canadian companies in the IT world do so well, and then they flame out. Research in Motion. Bombardier and aviation and trains and skidoos. Yeah, Canadian companies do so well, and they flame out all the time. Corel, same thing. Corel was fantastic. Corel, what was it? Corel Graphics? Was that what it's called? Not graphics. Corel. What was that show called? That software for presentations back in the day. Anyway, John Steenhuisen will meet with Ramaphosa tonight. Well, the clock is ticking. He better meet with him right now. I hope he gives him his Gauteng pestilence. John Steenhuisen very ill today. This is by Farrell Haffiji, who was in the press conference. So the DA leader says the DA remains committed to the government of national unity as a way to grow the economy, but a negotiated deal on expropriation law appears imminent. National health insurance is more pressing touch point. Well, there's no deal. He didn't say that. There's no deal on expropriation on compensation. Farrell, you misquoted that. That's not what he said. Unless Corel Draw. Thank you very much, Chris Ehlers. Corel Draw. No, not PowerPoint. PowerPoint's Microsoft. No, Corel Draw. Thank you, freelance. Why is Trump banning foreign aid to healthcare in Africa? He's not, Michael. You're a sucker. You bought it. He didn't ban foreign aid to Africa. Where did you hear that from? From Dan Corder? Who told you? Who told you that Trump is banning aid to Africa? It's simply not true. What Trump did do is he ordered a 90-day freeze on all foreign assistance globally, because we found, and I'm going to report on this, we found AID workers actively violating the law, undermining the president's executive orders. Yep. Yeah, the CF 105. Yep. It's another one. He's being on his knees, says Neville. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on if we have time, about what took place. And I'm also going to make a video about that. Front page, Lotus. Oh, Lotus was the best spreadsheet. That was great. Lotus was fantastic. Yep. And Lotus was actually wound up being bought eventually by IBM, if I recall correctly. Yep. Lotus. We used to have in the Army. We had Wise PCs. A Chinese American guy who made a fortune off the government on these crappy computers that no one knew how to use, and they were unreliable. Wise PCs, and then we had in the Army something called Enable, which I always used to call Disable. It was a word processor, a spreadsheet, and a graphics thing, and none of them worked very well except the word processor, and we used to call it Disable. 1, 2, 3. Yep, there you go. Lotus 1, 2, 3. Yep. Stock up on antiretrovirals. Well, I'm fortunate I don't need those, thankfully. Democratic Alliance is not just annoyed by substance of bill, but Ramaphosa's refusal to consult. So, their feelings are hurt, and they're letting everybody know it. Duduzile Zuma is going to appear in court. Oh, look at this, over the July 2021 ANC insurrection. MK Party has asked members to show support when their leader's daughter, Duduhead Zuma Sambudla, appears in the Durban Magistrates Court on Thursday in connection with her role in the insurrection in 2021. Nothing will happen. Nothing will come of it, folks. She'll go to court and nothing will happen. It'll be dismissed for a couple years, and, nothing. This stunningly attractive young lady will not face any consequences. Yep. Yep. She was not among the July 20th unrest instigators of the Hawks arrested, but she was definitely involved. We saw her tweets urging people to burn and loot and do all this nonsense. Well, folks, this is what happens when you have unreliable state-owned enterprises responsible for public safety, water, electricity, infrastructure, bridges, roads, tunnels, all that stuff. This is what happens. A thriving business destroyed because unreliable service delivery. The Ike Kike Ike Kike Fleismark in Lichtenburg was a prosperous business which won Best Butchery in South Africa award. However, municipal mismanagement killed the enterprise. Entrepreneur Susan Ludick started the Ike Kike Fleismark in Lichtenburg in the 1990s with second-hand equipment and 5 employees. She built into one of the country's top butcheries. Yeah, well, the business grew rapidly. She became a significant employer. She added other divisions, including packaging and spice shop, a takeaway cafe, and a 2-hire shop for catering supplies. Wow, doing quite well. Ike Kike Fleismark won top national prize numerous times in the annual Cleaver Awards, and is also named the Boerewors König in the Santam and Jacaranda Boerewors competition. Yeah, she was named Businesswoman of the Year by the South African Union of Business Women, celebrating her success. She was one of the wealthiest and most successful business owners in Lichtenburg and ran her company for 3 decades. So, this should be a success story, right? This should be a success story. But it's not, and here's why. A mismanaged municipality crushed Ike Kike Fleismark. Yep, this is what happens when caters run countries. The collapse of Dietslopda, local municipality, which runs Lichtenburg, crushed the business. The town's taps regularly ran dry. Most households and businesses rely on water tankers and boreholes. Electricity outages can last for days or weeks. Infrastructure like roads have collapsed, and the municipality cannot pay its service providers. While many businesses have continued to push through, others have closed shop as the challenges became too much to handle. Clover was one of the companies which left town. It closed its cheese factory due to poor service delivery. I remember that. I reported on Clover shutting down its cheese factory in Lichtenburg. The Lichtenburg factory has been experiencing water and power outages for years. The municipality has not maintained the surrounding infrastructure. Despite numerous efforts to engage the municipality, the issues have not been resolved. No, because the ANC-led government is too busy stealing and pilfering and riding around with their blue light escorts instead of doing their jobs. So, yeah. Yep. So, she told Business Tech that the prolonged water and power outages forced her to close her 3 businesses and sell her commercial building for next to nothing. I left behind 2 houses and a block of townhouses for which there are no buyers. I lost millions of rands. In her misery, she had to pay the municipality $1.4 million for service charges in arrears before the commercial building could be transferred to the buyer. I used to be a rich and successful businesswoman who helped build Lichtenburg. I'm now a 65-year-old widow struggling to survive. This is horrible. This is the ANC. But they don't care. I presume she's white. Maybe she's not. I don't know. Her name looks like she's white. The once bustling Ike Kike Fleismark building is a dilapidated building with not much happening. It's a stark reminder of the impact of the government's poor service delivery. Get the government out of service delivery. It's not what they're supposed to be doing. Where all these pictures aren't loading? For some reason, all the photos didn't load. Anyway. All right, well. What a sad, sad state of affairs. She had 26 employees working for her. Now, none of them have jobs, and she's destitute. See if I can't find this woman. Well, the propaganda, and this is why I asked earlier, you got punked on this, Michael. I think it was you or someone else. It's really mean intros to be non-existent for a few months. That's quite sad. No, it doesn't, Michael. What it means is that if you read the order, there's a problem, and I'm going to talk about this. So someone may screw this up, but the direction from the Trump administration wasn't to stop foreign aid. The direction was to stop new expenditures. You can't start anything new. When Trump was president the first time, they tried to impeach him over the lie that he stopped the delivery of weapons to Ukraine, something that Obama never provided when they were engaged in war. But Ukraine wasn't at war, and Trump was selling Javelin missiles and giving Javelin missiles to Ukraine. So they tried to impeach him, saying that he violated the law by not following through on the law. Well, how do you think all the foreign aid that goes to South Africa, Tanzania, to China, we give China foreign aid, can you believe that? To Bahamas, all that foreign aid that goes out of the country, how do you think it goes there? It's in an appropriations bill, which is passed by the House and Senate, signed by the president, or a continuing resolution which is signed, which makes it public law. You can't simply stop it except under certain circumstances. And Trump stopping it would not be possible. Trump can put a moratorium because he has legitimate concerns for a period of time, which is what he did. So if people follow the executive order to the letter of the executive order, they will simply not entertain new ventures. So continuing services would continue, but South Africans are running around trying to be Cassandras going, ooh, ooh, crying and screaming, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, when in fact that's not what the order says. But to be fair, they're not alone. Americans are doing the same thing, and leftists all over the world are crying into their beer right now about how America is cutting off aid. Well, we've frozen new aid. That's the bottom line. So, but here's another one of these stories that tells a fairy tale. This one says, how Donald Trump's aid pause threatens HIV and AIDS support in South Africa. Okay, first off, I know the answers to this, but let's just ask this question. Why would Donald Trump how would he threaten HIV and AIDS? I mean, isn't that South African government's responsibility? in the private sector in South Africa to deal with HIV? Oh, that's right. You didn't do jack squat. You have Aspen Pharmacare, which did jack shit to develop antiretrovirals. They left it to us. So we spent tens of billions of dollars. We, and I say we because I own shares in pharmaceutical companies. Oh, yeah, I do, because they make a lot of money. I don't make a lot, but I make. Anyway, so pharmaceutical companies, we invest capital to develop these antiretrovirals to prolong the lives of people with these toxic drugs so they don't die much faster from AIDS-related diseases. And so we took the risk. We went through the Food and Drug Administration process of years long to get these things approved and human testing on white people, mostly gay white people in America, to prove the efficacy of them and, make sure it didn't kill people. So we took the risk. You did nothing. You sat back, and then you run around going, vaccine apartheid, vaccine apartheid, vaccine apartheid. Yeah. So you did nothing to develop antiretrovirals. You simply have a generic manufacturer who makes things in South Africa when you should have a company that's doing advanced research on this. So we took the risk, and then we created in 2003 the President's Emergency Program for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR. President's Emergency, not enduring, but emergency program for AIDS relief. And it was supposed to be a 5-year program. But it was so popular with bipartisan Congress and George Bush that it was extended for another 5 years. And it was tripled. It went from 15 billion to 45 or 48 billion expenditures for the next round. We have spent somewhere in the order of close to $200 billion providing money to people to survive. Initially, it was for counseling and testing, and then things like that. And later, it became for antiretrovirals as well. So we provide that, but it's an emergency program. South Africa's had, since 2003, 22 years to develop its own funding stream to pay for this. But what have they done in the meantime? PPE theft, the pilfering money for Nkonla, the list of ANC criminal actions is legion. I won't even detail all of it here. All the money they stole from those programs, instead of funding schools and building abolition units and providing antiretrovirals, they let us do it. And because we are putting a pause on it, suddenly we're the bad guy. Too bad. Get over yourself. Hey, Elizabeth. Yeah, MK is cannibalizing itself. Money's disappearing, people are quitting, corruption. Well, that's exactly what you would expect of MK. ANC must go ask China and Russia or shut the hell up. Exactly, Artie. Exactly. So that's what's going on there. So this story says that in a speech, Trump said, we get tired of giving massive amounts of money to countries that hate us, don't we? Yeah, well, that's true. So as a result, the Wits Reproductive Health and HIV Institute has announced the closure of its clinic until further notice. Why? Why did you announce the closure of your clinic? The funding you've already been authorized is there. See, this is they're playing games. And the problem is that people aren't falling for it. They try to grill J.D. Vance. Well, what about, and they try to grill Tom Homan. And they have the answer. Tom Homan. So once you've got all the criminals, and the leftist journalist thought she had Tom Homan. Once you've got all the murders and rapists, you've deported them, what then? Are you going in schools? Well, what's the average age of MS-13 gang members? 13 to 16. Where are 13, 16-year-olds? In schools. We would be the only law enforcement agency in America that was not authorized to enter schools to go after criminals, known criminals. So you're saying that the Department of Homeland Security can't enter schools, and ICE can't enter schools to get criminals who are a threat to those kids in school? Then she says, well, so once they're all gone, what then? I mean, is anyone who is undocumented a threat? And he says, if you're in the country illegally, you're on the table. Oh, J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, the price of eggs is $9 a dozen. He's like, Trump's been president for 5 days. It takes a while for prices to come down. We're taking action. And it's the same thing here. This is going to backfire on these idiots. Wits, I call out Wits University right now. Why are you ceasing operations? Is your sole source of funding my pocket? Is the only place you get money out of my pocket as an American taxpayer? Is this what you need, Wits, to keep going? You need to take my money, or you can't do your business. You can't get it from South Africa's government. You can't get it from private donors. You can't get it from service fees you charge for people using your services. And oh, by the way, since the money that's this fiscal year, which began on October 1st, and we have a continuing resolution, is already in there, why are you ceasing operations? You still have that funding. Are you going to sit on the funding until this review is done? You are the one ceasing operations, Wits, and all these Cassandras running around, not us. You're the ones doing it. You're a bunch of lying sacks of horse manure. I read the executive order. I know what it means. I've worked in the federal government. I've run multi-billion dollar programs. So you're not going to snow me. And I'm going to tell people how it is. I'm not going to let you fall for the nonsense that the leftist media and Dan Condom Head, and all these lunatics are running around screaming and crying about. Yes, there's an impact here. But I'll tell you what, we're finding members of USAID who are actively undermining our foreign policy. That's why this freeze was put in place, to review it. Even a clinic that provides free and confidential sexual health care to men in the LGBTQ plus community, Engage Men's Health, has ceased operations owing to a stop work order from backers. Okay, let's be very clear. Stop work order from backers. That's not from the U.S. government. We gave no stop work order to Engage Men's Health. That's not from us. That's something that South Africans did. And then we're going to get blamed for it? I don't think so. Not going to buy it. Not going to buy it. So I will call them out each and every day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Freedom Front Plus joined forces with the ANC to oust the mayor of Swellendam. And we were kind of scratching our head on that. And they didn't really talk about that this morning in the DA press conference, which was a question for one of the journalists at the end. But we're curious what's going on. Well, it turns out that apparently the Freedom Front Plus counselor was a rogue counselor. It looks that way. Yep. The Freedom Front Plus national leadership decided to probe party member and Swellendam Councilman Speaker Jean van Schalkwyk. The party said this comes after van Schalkwyk supported a motion by the ANC to remove DA Mayor Francois Durand from office on Monday. Party leader Peter Groenewald said that van Schalkwyk's conduct runs counter to the Freedom Front Plus decision that the party will not support nor agree with the ANC in a motion of no confidence in this nature. So this guy's in trouble. And see, here's the thing. They can remove him and put someone else in there, and then the government falls apart again. Another vote of no confidence. It's so silly. It's not legitimate governance. You cannot have parliamentary governance at municipal level. You have to be able to vote for your members of council, and then you run with it till the next election. Well, Zimbabwe's war veterans, who's left? Ladies and gentlemen, in order to be a war veteran in Zimbabwe, you had to be roughly 15 in 1980, okay? So that meant you had to be born around the time I was born, or shortly afterwards. So you had to be born no later than 1965 in order to be a legitimate war veteran to have participated in the conflict in the bush from Mozambique or wherever, or from Zambia. So anyone that's younger than me is a liar, for the most part. There is probably an exception here or there, 13-year-old is involved, but mostly they're all liars. So who are these war veterans? At this point, they're all 90, right? A group of Zimbabwe Liberation War veterans has called for Emerson Mnangagwa to step down. They're affiliated with ZANU-PF and accused the president of nepotism, corruption, and failing to address the moribund economy. Well, that's been the case since this guy illegally became president after resigning from office and fleeing to South Africa back in 2017. Yep. At a press conference streamed online, Blessed Runesco Geza, a veteran of Zimbabwe's 60s, 70s Liberation War and a member of the Central Committee, called for the president to step down immediately. We are saying as war veterans, enough is enough. You've shown that you failed. It can't get any worse. Oh, it can get worse. It's Zimbabwe. It can always get worse. You people destroyed this country yourself. You destroyed this country yourself. So no sympathy from me whatsoever. Well, a 3 billion rand Maputo port expansion is kicked off, and that's good news for Mozambique, which is suffering through a civil conflict right now. The Maputo Port Development Company, in partnership with DP World, a Dubai-based logistics multinational, announced the commencement of the first phase of container expansion at the port. They'll increase capacity from 255,000 20-foot equivalents, or TEUs, to 530,000. Wow, that's almost double. Well, it is more than double. Yeah, it's more than double the container capacity, which will make up for the debacle that's going on in Durban. There you go. Rwanda-backed rebels have captured the city of Goma in Kivu. Wow. Residents report gunfire and shelling as hundreds of thousands of civilians seek safety. There's a UN vehicle outside Goma on fire. Rwanda-backed rebel group on Monday entered the Congolese city of Goma, threatening a new bloody chapter in a 30-year conflict set off by the 1994 genocide. Residents, by the way, that genocide was perpetrated by black folks, not whites. Just saying. Rwanda and Congo's presidents are going to meet as the rebels have captured Goma. Members of M23 walk alongside residents. Look at that. They're equipped properly, proper uniforms, proper weapons, even modicum of discipline there. A stark contrast to the South African National Defense Force that's opposing them. We're all in agreement that now, more than ever, it's an existential threat, not just for the people of Eastern DRC, but for this region, said President William Ruto from Kenya. The apparent takeover of Goma, a city of 2 million, has prompted fears of further violence and mass displacement. Never mind potential threat for sex-based or gender-based violence. Gazans. Well, we'll get to Gazans in a little bit. Protesters have attacked Western embassies in Kinshasa, blaming us for the mess they made. Many blame the U.S., France, and other countries for allowing Rwanda to fuel the conflict in the country's east. Well, you're Congolese. It's your country. Why don't you fix it? Why is it our responsibility? Hundreds of protesters attacked several embassies and the United Nations building in the DRC's capital, Kinshasa, today, as rebel offensive backed by neighboring Rwanda threatened to spiral into a regional chaos. A regional crisis. Yeah, we have nothing to do with this. This is your problem. You must solve it. We've given you tens of billions of dollars, and you've just made it worse. Congo's ex-election chief is part of the problem. He's become a rebel in the insurgency. Cornel Nanga, former election board head, leads a coalition to overthrow President Felix Tshisekedi with rebel support. His coalition, supported by Rwandan-backed rebels, aims to recreate state stability and has seized border towns. The alliance, contested by several nations, aims to secure towns like Goma before advancing despite international concerns. Well, in 2018, he orchestrated the heavily criticized corrupt election that brought Felix Tshisekedi to power. But today, he's leading a rebellion against the president because these people are about craving political power and self-aggrandizement and self-enrichment. Did you see Real Candace received a legal letter from the Macrons trying to intimidate her? No, I did not. What did Candace Owens say that the French got their feelings hurt? Palestinians are returning to northern Gaza after being kicked out for months. Well, they're returning to rubble just after dawn in Gaza on Monday, when for the first time in 50 months, hundreds of thousands of displaced Palestinians streamed into the enclave's north. They returned under provision of a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, in some cases walking for hours to reach the cratered landscape that was once Gaza's busy urban center. There you go. There's nothing left. Oh, that lady has a cat. A little kitty, making her way. On Monday, Dia Assad, 51, walked for 8 hours from Nuseirat to the Gaza city on a potholed road with his 6 children, a distance about 7 miles. He said he encountered almost nothing during the journey back and knew there would be nothing waiting for him. There were no cars, no services, long way, not even water. So why did you go back? And also, why do you have 6 children when you clearly can't care for them? China's DeepSeek, which is what we talked about earlier in the program. Oh, well, that's her opinion. The French, they're illegitimate, their government anyway. DeepSeek AI rattles Wall Street, but questions remain. Isn't he married to like a woman that's like 1,000 years older than him? Chinese researchers backed by a Hangzhou-based hedge fund recently released a new version of the large language model called DeepSeek that rivals the capabilities of the most advanced U.S.-built products, but reportedly does so with fewer computing resources and at much lower cost. Well, while we've been pouring billions into AI, the Chinese put tens of dollars into it and created a competing version that seems to get the job done. Well, more suspected sabotage in the Baltic Sea as another cable is cut. Deep sea cable triggers first NATO-led response. The alliance deploys regular naval patrols, enhanced surveillance in areas it says are prone. But they raced to the site of a damaged fiber optic cable in Swedish waters Sunday morning, where a trio of ships carrying Russian cargo, including one recently sanctioned by the U.S., were nearby. All 3 vessels are now being investigated as part of a probe into suspected sabotage of the fiber optic cable. Why don't you just impound the ships? Just impound them. The Swedish Navy has seized one of the vessels, so there you go. Sweden is investigating damage to a data cable linked to Latvia, the latest breach in the Baltic Sea. The Vezhen is anchored Monday for examination by Swedish authorities. Swedish authorities have launched a preliminary investigation of suspected sabotage and detained a vessel in the Baltic Sea after damage reported to an undersea data cable between Latvia and Sweden. The crisis scenario worked, NATO says. Not really. The cable was snapped. Why aren't your patrols out watching these ships and going alongside them, making sure they're not causing this irreparable harm to these data cables? This is feckless. NATO is failing, just like they failed in Afghanistan, just like they failed in Libya. Unbelievable. Keir Starmer rules out an arbitrary cap for the invasion of the United Kingdom, population of which was just 53 million 30 years ago, and soon, by the year 2032, expected to be 72.5 million people, courtesy of the illegal invasion of the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister, Sir Dipshit, has ruled out setting an arbitrary cap to cut staggeringly high migration levels after the UK population was projected to grow by almost 5 million. The UK is already wildly overpopulated, too densely populated, struggling to keep up with the resources. And now they're allowing millions of people to pour into the country needlessly. Yeah, it's something like ChatGPT. That's correct, scientist. Inheritance tax may be the death knell for many farms in Northern Ireland, part of the United Kingdom. Northern Ireland's farmers took part in tractor rallies over the weekend demonstrating support for the National Farmers Union's Stop the Farm Family Farm Tax campaign. Lord Maurice Morrow told colleagues in the Lords on Monday that the changes will worsen the situation for Northern Ireland's agriculture community, which is already facing rising prices amid higher cost of living and the chokehold of the post-Brexit Windsor framework. Yeah, well, this farming, the government intruding into farming, one of the most productive areas in the world for farming is Europe, and they've destroyed it. Well, we talked about this earlier too, briefly. Denmark is stepping up its responsibilities. Why? Because Trump threatened sanctions. Denmark to spend $2 billion beefing up military capabilities in Greenland. Danish Defense Minister Troels Lund Poulsen said we must face the fact that there are serious challenges regarding security and defense in the Arctic. Well, first off, why do your soldiers have beards? Why do they have beards? Soldiers shouldn't be having beards. Retirees, yes, but soldiers. Denmark has unveiled the details of a $2.05 billion package to boost its military presence in the Arctic following repeated requests by Trump for the United States to acquire Greenland. So we've got actually tangible result here. 14.6 billion Danish kroners. It will pay for 3 new Arctic Navy vessels, which will be equipped with helicopters and drones. Wow. They'll also permanently site 2 long-range drones in Greenland with the ability to conduct surveillance over large areas and great distances. Well, there you go. It's about time that they got their act together. So this is in response to Trump's threats. Wow. Bianca says, could it be that the health centers closed now to postpone patients, put on ARVs, and use their remaining available funds and share? Yeah, but then that's they don't close. They're still providing a service. So that they suspend taking on new clients. That's a different story. But that's not the story they're running. They're trying to make us look bad by, we had shut down. No, they're lying. They're lying. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. United Nations chief expresses his concern over Trump's freeze on foreign aid. You know what? Shove it. Shove it, Gutierrez. Oh, my goodness. It says our halt to foreign assistance will cost many, many lives. Well, you want to spend all your time calling us racist and colonizers and imperialists. You know what? We're pulling back our imperialism. So succeed or fail in your own merit. You don't get our money anymore. Yep. During a news conference on Monday, spokesman for Antonio Gutierrez, the United Nations Secretary General, noted the policy change with concern. He calls for additional exemptions to be considered to ensure the continued delivery of critical development and humanitarian activities from the most vulnerable communities around the world. I'll tell you what, why doesn't the United Nations fill that gap? Use your money. Use your money. That's what you should do. Well, Donald Trump, here we go. We're to the United States now, finally, folks. Here's the news of the U.S. for those who stuck around. The Trump administration, White House orders federal grants pause as firings reshape the Justice Department. The White House Budget Office ordered a pause in grants, loans, and other federal financial assistance, a sweeping move that it said was necessary to bring programs in line with President Trump's priorities. It was not immediately clear which programs would be affected, though the scope would be vast. The memo said Medicare and Social Security benefits were exempt, but much else was unclear. The acting attorney general, James McHenry, fired more than a dozen prosecutors who had worked with special counsel Jack Smith prosecuting Trump. Trump signed 4 executive orders focused on the military. 2 were aimed at eliminating diversity and equity practices and any formal recognition of transgender or non-binary people. Another reinstated service members who refused to get the experimental COVID jab. And a 4th directed the military to develop a missile defense system like Israel's Iron Dome. Yep. Trump's doing it. Trump order freezing foreign aid halts programs worldwide, prompts confusion and rush for waivers. Suspension affects humanitarian programs, counterterrorism. A Trump administration order pausing almost all foreign aid has left counterterrorism training in Somalia, HIV treatment in Uganda, narcotics interdiction in Colombia, and prosthetics for refugees from Myanmar, and many more U.S.-funded overseas assistance programs in sudden limbo. The directive from January 24th stated the State Department and U.S. Agency for National Development shall not provide foreign assistance until high level. That's not what it said. That is not what it said. That is a lie right there. So the Wall Street Journal lies. Let me get to what the order said. Where's that here? There it is. Okay. The exact wording of the order. All department and agency heads with responsibility for U.S. foreign development assistance programs shall immediately pause new obligations and disbursements of development assistance funds to foreign countries and NGOs. Pause new obligations and disbursements. New, not existing. We're already operating under a budget, so there'll be no new ones. You can't start new things. This is a lie. Even the Wall Street Journal lies. Acting USAID Administrator Jason Gray put dozens of agency officials on administrative leave Monday, saying they were suspected of seeking to circumvent Trump's executive orders. One agency staffer said 57 officials were put on leave. We've identified several actions within USAID that appear to be designed to circumvent the president's executive orders. That's why we paused it. They're breaking the law. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Government officials have been put on leave because they're violating the law. These people should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. We've placed a number of USAID employees on administrative leave with full pay. Why full pay if you've caught them misbehaving? U.S. officials at the U.S. Agency for International Development have been placed on administrative leave. Wow. That they appear to be designed to circumvent President Trump's executive orders and the mandate from the American people. People are calling it the Monday afternoon massacre, according to Francisco Benscombe, AID's China policy lead until earlier this month. This decision undermines our national security and emboldens our adversaries instead of focusing on China. No, it doesn't. Giving handouts doesn't undermine our national security. It doesn't embolden our adversaries. If our adversaries want to provide free antiretrovirals to South Africa, then let them. Let the Chinese pay for it. If the Russians want to provide prosthetics for victims of landmines in Myanmar, let the Russians do it. If Iran wants to feed starving Zimbabweans, let Iran feed them. How does it undermine our national security? That's a lie. See, these are scumbags. These are people that don't deserve a job. And they're finding it life's going to be hard after this gravy train is over. USAID needs to be dismantled, said Representative Mike Collins of Georgia. Ooh, that's strong. Yep. So they're saying it's an independent federal agency. It's not independent. It's subsumed by the State Department years ago. Congress moves to sanction the International Criminal Court, the ICC. European officials have warned that the bill prompted by an arrest warrant for Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu would irreparably harm the institution. Good, because the ICC is rogue. It's not the institution that the Rome Statute envisioned. U.S. lawmakers are moving to pass a new law that some in Washington's top European allies fear will cripple the world's preeminent international court. It's not the world's preeminent international court. The International Court of Justice is the preeminent international court. Abigail Hauslohner, you are wrong. Let me look at this person. Come on, I want to see what she looks like. Yeah, okay. Hauslohner, okay. Yeah. The Illegitimate Court Counteraction Act. There you go, says Senator Tom Coffman. I want the strongest version, and I'm going to vote for it, said John Fetterman. I don't know why you wouldn't vote to sanction the ICC after the way they behave towards Israel. Ooh, John Fetterman comes out in strong support. There you go. The White House orders a pause in federal financial aid assistance. So, yeah, this is further on that executive order I talked about a moment ago. The memo was sent around at 5 p.m. yesterday by the Office of Budget Management, causing confusion. Some employees in federal agencies who sought to understand which programs are affected and how they should respond. It wasn't immediately clear whether the memo only paused financial assistance revealed in executive or related to executive orders. Interesting. Trump threatens tariffs over immigration, drugs, and Greenland. He's increasingly threatened other countries with tariffs for issues that have little to do with trade. No, it's a tool. It's a tool. New York Times, and Anna Swanson and Alan Rappaport. It's a tool. It has nothing to do with trade. It's a sanction to get people to behave. In his first week in office, President Trump is trying to browbeat governments across the world into ending the flow of drugs in America, accepting planes full of deported migrants, and halting wars and ceding territory to the United States. Browbeating people into ending wars. Okay, well, if ending wars is necessary by browbeating, I'm all for browbeating. Browbeating countries who authorize the transport of criminal alien invaders back to their country and give aircraft clearance and landing rights to us, and then for grandstanding and public attention, thinking the world doesn't know how aircraft overflight and landing and clearances are done in advance before a plane takes off, having that countermanded by Gustavo Petro, and then claim, oh, we're not going to let them in here. And if that's browbaiting, well, that's what they deserve because they reneged. We were being browbeaten by these scumbags, so too bad for them. Yep. It's a strategy rarely seen from other presidents and never at this frequency. He threatened governments like Mexico, yep, Colombia, yep, Canada, yep, Denmark, yep, absolutely. And it's working. It's working everywhere. It's working. Well, the deportations are ramping up, ladies and gentlemen. ICE made nearly 1,200 arrests on Sunday. On a Sunday. Yep, Sunday, bloody Sunday. Immigration and Customs Enforcement made nearly 1,200 arrests on Sunday and just over 1,000 on Saturday, marking an uptick after arrest numbers in President Trump's first few days in office were roughly in line with the daily averages under the Biden administration. Yeah. Did you notice that? The first 5 days of the Trump administration, the detentions, the arrest were no larger than under Biden. Not a single news story reported that. Not a single news story. The only people that reported that were conservatives who were upset that only 300 or 400 people being arrested every day, not thousands, which is what we want. We want thousands and tens of thousands and millions of these scumbags deported from this country. We're the only ones talking about it, not the media. But now, now it's 1,200. Woo! Oh, my goodness. Well, Trump has signed an executive order directing the military to develop the Iron Dome. Remember when Reagan came out with Star Wars? They derided him. Well, the Iron Dome exists and it works. The executive order covers a range of advanced missile and air defense capabilities. The United States will begin revamping its missile defense capabilities under a new executive order President Trump signed on January 27th. This executive order called for a revamped set of layered missile defense capabilities to defeat ballistic, hypersonic, and advanced cruise missiles. Well, there you go. There you go. The threats to America are real, and Trump is paying attention. Trump says Microsoft might be buying TikTok, U.S. assets. U.S. President says there's great interest in purchasing the video sharing platform facing a ban on national security grounds. He added on Monday, if Microsoft's in talks to acquire it, he said he would say yes. He would have no problem with it. I like bidding wars because you make your best deals. Microsoft declined comment for this story from Al Jazeera. Well, let's see if Microsoft does buy TikTok. They'll ruin it just like everything else they've ruined. I guarantee you that. They'll ruin it. Already got leftists whining. It's not the same as it was before. All right, so let me get back to the chat and see what's going on here. Holden says, are CCP police stations in the United States shuttered yet? Which ones? The one in Manhattan has been shuttered. Have you identified others? Please contact our government. Okay. What do we got in the chat here? All right, let me go back a little ways. Put on the timestamps. Oh, the timestamps are on. There we go. The heck? Oh, my goodness. My chat just locked up there. There we go. Let's go back a little bit there. All right, so let me get... Oh, it's only on top chat. How did that happen? It only goes back to top... You turd. When I refresh, it only gave me top chat, so I'm missing some of the chat here. Apologies for that, folks. I only want to go back so far. I'm going to go back about 13 minutes. Candace said that the First Lady of France is a pedo. Okay, I didn't know that. What else we got here? Bianca says, could it be that the health center's closed now? Yeah, no, I answered that already. Holden Caulfield, they have beards because gas was unpopular in Geneva. Good that Trump is forcing countries to pay their share. The bonus of being alone is that you're not made to change your vest after every meal, says Low IQ. This is all part of the World Economic Forum agenda. The lockdowns was a test. The same crap is happening all over the world. Well, not here. It's all going the other way. President of France is 25 years old. Yeah, she met him when he was 50. Yeah, I know. That's what I said. She's like, on Social Security. Scientists, yes, it is, but much cheaper if you believe the Chinese. The Lotus Eaters done a good segment today. Which segment is that, John Jarvis? I watched the Lotus Eaters segment on expropriation and compensation, and I've watched the Lotus Eaters and enjoyed their content in the past, but I was very disappointed at their ignorance about what's going on in South Africa. That was a very poor segment on expropriation without compensation. I was very disappointed in the Lotus Eaters. Also, when did they start wearing suits? I guess I haven't watched in a few months. They're wearing suits now. I mean, wherever they want, but I mean, it looked kind of goofy considering how they normally dress. French biltong Barbie. Okay, I inherited my late sister's lung lacta. Okay. Chantel Jenkins, welcome, Chantel. And there's Jenkins. Trump has highlighted how dependent the world is on U.S. fund. Exactly. Well, America can't go it alone. We're not going alone. We're paying for the world, So, and on top of that, all the intellectual property theft, the copyright infringements, the espionage, industrial espionage, all conducted by China against America's businesses and our institutions and our universities and our government, all of which has undermined our economy. Put a stop to that, and no one can stop us. And John Jarvis talking about some development costs. I'm not sure what that conversation is. PK says America has many poor people of their own. Well, there'll always be poor people, folks. People make stupid decisions, irresponsible decisions. They don't act in their both best interest. I mean, people don't just magically become drug addicts because they're wealthy and famous. People become drug addicts because there's issues in their life or they're being silly at some point. Or they were unfortunately addicted to pain medication because of overprescription. All those play a role. Yeah, it's just because the rest of the world is useless at helping their own citizens. How is it America's fault? It's not our fault, PK. You're right. Yep. I think America should donate to me. My bank account's looking low. Neville, I'm with you, man. My account's looking a little low today, too. Let me just check and see. Scrooge McDuck time here. I only have 16 billion zlotys left, so it's looking kind of slim in my bank account. Trump is unburdening the good citizens of the USA from what has been. Yes, we are being unburdened from what has been. Yep. Screw all the politics. When are we going to get you drunk in Pretoria? The only time we can get me drunk in Pretoria is if I'm at a place that has a bar in it, like a hotel, because I'm not getting in a vehicle with people who've been drinking, and I'm not going to drink and drive, and I'm not going to get in a vehicle if I'm the one drinking and we're driving back at night in South Africa. That ain't going to happen. It's got to be some place that I'm staying, so that's the only place. And getting me drunk, probably unlikely. Maybe a little intoxicated, but not drunk. Marty says, don't be silly. The U.S. government doesn't care about its people or people globally, if not sanctions, tariffs, taxes, with conditions for global hegemony, endless wars, lots of profit. Oh, Marty, stop dreaming. Such a silly bunch of nonsense. And so, Marty, which of these programs did you execute? Were you the executive agent for? Did you build HIV counseling testing centers? Did you restore infrastructure? You fix broken roads, drill wells? Did you treat those who were wounded from wars committed by Africans or Cambodians? Which of these programs are you involved in? Did you give money to a country only for them to come back having wasted, squandered it, or stolen it, and then beg for relief, and you give them relief, and then you give them more money? So which hegemony is this? Come on, Marty. Come on, get serious here. Get serious. That's just leftist garbage. Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. I'm sick of the nonsense. This is just ridiculous. The U.S. is being beat up. So we give people money and we're accused of being an imperialist power. We stop giving you money and we're accused of being imperialist power. It's just utter nonsense. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. In the news, EU, NATO take vow of silence in Greenland. Why is nobody talking about the State of the Nation address? Because they're talking about the Democratic Alliance feckless behavior. By the way, I took a picture of this clown. I need to get around to making something on this. Here he is. This clown here. I need to write about this guy. Anders Vistisen. Anders Vistisen, a member of the European Parliament, who's got some male pattern baldness going on there. He told Trump to fuck off. I've got a little message for this jackass. You can screw off. So, by the way, little skiing stuff here. Let me see. All right, we'll go back to Anders. So this is from yesterday. So there you go. Check it out. That's the snowmaking machine there. Anyway, that was yesterday. So I went skiing for the first time since 2011. That was interesting. Yeah, no one's talking about the State of the Nation address because we're all talking about the expropriation of compensation. Okay, what did I miss here? Something jumped on me. Bianca worked in Sunnyside. Okay. Barack Hussein Obama stopped the missile defense in his administration. Why did Trump not threaten with sanctions? Trump is threatening with sanctions. You mean who? South Africa? Give it time. Want to see what Selena Gomez was crying about? Yeah. She's crying. All my people. Well, if your people are convicted pedos, rapists, murderers, narco traffickers, and human traffickers, if that's who you associate with Selena Gomez, then perhaps you need to find your way to the door and exit the country. Selena Gomez. She was only mildly attractive to pedos when she first came on the scene. Her music sucks. It's generic bubblegum pop. And she has no talent whatsoever and not even attractive. You could at least be attractive if you're going to sing that garbage. I mean, at least Taylor Swift is attractive, even though she's, sings bubblegum garbage. What's going on with... What does Chantel say? What the heck's going on there? M. Ollie 4, Chris, U.S. should sanction South Africa due to their over 100 race-based... Well, yeah, no, I don't disagree, but it's not for that. I think the South Africa should be removed from AGOA because they're not eligible. They made themselves ineligible. So that should happen. That should be a done deal. 111 likes, folks. We're down to 109 people here, though.
That was easy.
As the Ronaldo crowd, I think, went over there. Ronaldo doesn't usually broadcast on a Tuesday, but they all went over there to join him, I think. Yeah, well, they're ineligible for AGOA, and we should consider sanctions beyond that. Yep. Val says, back in a few, need... what's going on? Messing with the dogs. Okay. Can't wait to leave South Africa now, waiting to collect my passport as we speak, says Ravani. Okay. We have an Afrikaans Uber service now, so no need to drive with me. I'm not worried about driving with you. I'm worried about spikes in the road and concrete blocks thrown out and being, robbed or shot on the street at night when I can't see people coming at me from an angle. Hope you enjoy where you go. South African weather's great. Ravani. So, okay. Go in the UAE. No thanks. I'm not living in Arab countries. I've done it. I've been there. Seen that movie. Didn't like it. Don't like that. Chris is so unfair, so darn hot hearing you play in the snow. Yeah, it's 38 degrees. It's, 2 or 3 degrees Celsius right now. Okay. Now they're trolling Gomez. Good. I hope they troll her to death because she's just an idiot. See, this is the problem with these vapid morons that, you get the Dan Quarters and the Selena Gomez of the world that you can't string two sentences together and don't know what they're talking about. And they spread this panic and this nonsense. And these journalists, so-called journalists, interviewing J.D. Vance, interviewing Tom Homan. Whoa, what are you going to go after? What comes next? And Tom Homan very unemotionally says, if you enter the country illegally, you're on the table. So that's 20, 30 million people. Are they scared? They should be scared. They're criminals. They have no business being here. I don't hear about them, with their kids in school and they bought this and they did that and they pay taxes. I don't care if people pay taxes. That doesn't make you an American citizen. Paying taxes doesn't give you any rights or privileges. Trust me, it doesn't. Any opinions on German AFD? Greg, I've talked about the AFD. The AFD is wildly misrepresented by the German press and by their political opponents. The German government is illegitimate. It's violating the German Grundgesetz to spy on the AFD on an illegitimate basis, claiming that they're a terrorist organization. They're a political party. They're registered in Germany. They have members in parliament. They compete in local elections, and they serve Germans well. The fact that they don't want criminal alien invaders in their midst, and they don't want Afghans raping 12-year-old German girls at the Hallenbad, doesn't make them xenophobic or white nationalists or neo-Nazis. And that's how they're portrayed. That said, they do have a few members that are on the fringe there, but so does the CDU, the SPD, the Greens. They've all got people on the fringe. So this characterization of AFD as some right-wing neo-Nazi movement is just disgraceful. And the reason they're portrayed in that fashion is because they defend Germans. And the German government, just like the American government under Biden, hates Germans and they hated Americans. For whatever reason. This leftists hate, they're self-loathing losers. And they'll do everything to undermine the safety and security of Germans on a daily basis. So my opinions on the AFD is it's wildly mischaracterized. And they're going to be the largest party in the elections that come up very soon, which means they'll probably get between 20 and 30%. Okay, sorry. Tomorrow at 7, Wednesday 7, 7 is 1 o'clock. Wait, no, it's noon. Sorry, this is Sunil DeBeer. All right, so yeah. Another message, support message. Okay, got it. I didn't see your message, but I do see it from Neil DeBeer. Thank you for the heads up there, Hendo. Okay, Selena's husband is a huge creep. I don't know who. I didn't know she was married. Thank you, Hendo. I checked the DM from Neil. Weather is crap, says PK. Chris, do not worry about spikes and concrete blocks. That's what makes South Africa so exciting. Fatima Abdul. Oh, my goodness. My favorite soapy star is here. Fatima. Hochandit. Lovely. Muy. How do you say that in Afrikaans? Lady. Dama, we say in German. I'm sorry. Gnädige Frau, we'd say, for the respectable lady. So, Fatima Abdul, how you doing there? Neil and I are trying to link up, but he's so busy. And so we're trying to talk about all these different things going on, expropriation, compensation, all the other stuff. Pretoria, Chris, we fire first. Basic fire maneuver techniques. Well, clearly those are skills not taught to South African National Defense Force troops that are in Goma. All right. At this point, anywhere is better than South Africa, says Ravani. Well, it won't be freezing in the United Arab Emirates. You'll be melting there. When do we see the new press secretary? You haven't seen her. She's very attractive. And she's very articulate, too. Trump is never going to deport 15 million. What's this? He may get 5 million, maybe, but he'll scare. That's exactly right, Arctic. He'll scare a bunch out and he'll stop the flow. Mike says, did you see Selena Gomez crying about what is happening? Yeah, no, we were just talking about that, Michael. Did you just pop back in? We were talking about that moments ago. How do illegal aliens... How do illegal immigrants pay taxes? Very simple, Odin. Very simple. Every time they purchase something, they pay sales tax to local governments. Every time they pay for utilities, they pay excise taxes and federal taxes. Yep. And they pay income taxes by stealing Social Security numbers and using other people's Social Security numbers. Yeah, it's very simple. Very simple. Illegal aliens pay taxes all the time. Every time an illegal alien pumps petrol in their tank, they're paying 50 or 43 cents a gallon in federal tax, plus all the state tax on top of it. Yeah, that's how they pay for taxes. Yeah. When they rent places illegally, the landlords have to pay property taxes on that, so they're paying taxes through that. Bianca said something there. Chantel, it's much better. We actually go somewhere in rush hour. What's this? Okay. DA calls for immediate reinstatement of PEPFAR funding by Emma Louise Powell. Well, first off, Emma Louise Powell's an idiot. Let's check her out. Emma Louise Powell, okay? Okay, let's look her up. She's not very bright. Emma Louise Powell, South African politician, member of the DA, Shadow Deputy Minister for Human Settlements in 2019. In 2020, she was appointed Shadow Minister for Human Settlements. She was promoted to the role of Shadow Minister for International Relations in 2023, re-elected as a member of Parliament in 2024, and she has been in, well, she hasn't been around all that long. She's only been in since 2019, so not even all that long. What is she, young? She looks young. There she is. She's not very bright. Not very bright. She doesn't understand how this stuff works if she thinks that her calling for it. I'll have to cover that. Thank you for sharing that, Michael. Oh, you told me what she does there, spokesperson for national relations. Okay. Yes, isn't this funny? The DA is demanding that we give money to South Africa so the ANC can skirt its obligations to take care of South Africans. Yeah, none for that. Thank you for sharing that, Michael. Appreciate that. Fatima says, "Dit gaan goed, dankie." Dis dame in Afrikaans ook. Okay, so it's also dame. Mooi dame. Pretty lady. Pretty lady. Oh, so mooi dame. Would that work then? Thank you, Fatima. Bye-bye, donkey. Pete Pompies says, evening, everyone. Welcome from Namibia. Hey, Namibia. We love Namibia. NWA's here. So my mountain. What do you guys tell me about your mountain? She is damn hot. Still trying to find a bad-looking woman near Trump. Best I got is the chief of staff. The rest are definitely worth the second marriage, says Arctic. Fatima says hello to all her peeps. Yeah, Funk Dunk. Are the 20 million previous Biden voters all illegal? No, I don't know that anybody that's illegal alien actually voted, although there is evidence of it. There have been cases, people have been arrested for it. But, I mean, it's not the easiest thing to do, even despite the weakening of our election laws in the 50 states. It's not the easiest thing to do to pull it off, but some people do. See, Chris can use the Afrikaans Uber. Those taxes are not qualifiers. It's a cost of living in my country, but I understand. Paying income tax is not a qualifier. I don't understand what you're getting at. It's a cost of living. You asked how they're paying taxes. I answered the question. So I don't understand how it conflicts with your question. Wasn't Neil DeBeer supposed to be on tonight? No, Bill, I said he potentially could be on tonight. But we ran into, let me see if he responded because he's a busy guy. No, he hasn't responded back yet. No, I said he would potentially be on tonight. But it's a busy day with the DA's, nonsensical press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but the Democratic Alliance just doesn't get it. They just don't get it. They don't. I mean, they ran a press conference in which they insulted South Africans. So let me get some of my notes here, some of the things I put in this, because it really torqued me off. So hang on a second there. Okay, so here you go. So they talked about their Catalyst program for 77 candidates. Submit your curriculum vitae by February 1st to join our team, because we're going to take over the municipalities. They said they're going to be the top political party in the 2026 elections. I don't know what they're smoking, but they ought to all have your analysis test. I mean, they're just whistling past the cemetery. They're just completely oblivious. There'll be no country in 2027 if you don't take action now. Bella, the black tax, and now expropriation without compensation. They were complete amateurs, rubes. They think that they can just demand something from ANC. The ANC is executing the National Democratic Revolution. As we speak, it's unfolding in front of you. Next up, NHI. NHI. They were pompous, clueless. Tunny Helen standing up there telling us the story about why cities fail because of entrenched cadres and deployment. Yeah, we get that, sweetheart. How about you talk about expropriation without compensation and what your party's not going to do? Steenhuisen, while she was talking, looked like he was being held hostage. Did you see that? Oh, my goodness. And they acted as if Gauteng was their only focus. And my question was, are these people spineless jellyfish? They didn't talk about anything that mattered to South Africans. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, folks. It was their complete loss. I got so much love to give. Okay, Sweden, Canada, Switzerland, France, England, Poland, Dubai, Mauritius, Saudi Arabia, hot. The weather will get you first. Then the culture is very unwelcoming. Yeah, unfortunately, PK, Ireland used to be a great, fantastic place to go, but Ireland has surrendered itself to criminal alien invaders. It's now occupied by 16%, mostly illegal people who have no business being in Ireland. We have people running around demanding Sharia in Ireland. We have youths camping out and assaulting Irish and telling them to get off of walking paths and keep their dogs away. And the Irish putting signs out saying you can't bring dogs here because it offends these groups of people. I mean, the Irish have surrendered their country. It's unbelievable. You need to interview Fidel Adams. That would be interesting. Well, Fatima put me in touch with him. He didn't have a number or didn't have something. I met Fidel at the event that Neil invited me with. It was a private event, which some very wealthy South Africans and some political leaders there. Musi Maimani was there. That's not a secret. I can disclose it now. And Neil was there, and Fidel Adams was the event that I went to. I met him and asked to interview him, but I forget what happened with the contact information, and I lost it or something didn't happen. So, I mean, look, I'll interview Fidel Adams, but at this point, with his utterances of the past year, I'm having a hard time taking him seriously. I don't really think he has South Africa's interest at heart. I know he's angry at Helen Zille and the DA, but his focus should be on service delivery and participating in good governance. Consider it done. Thank you, Fatima. I appreciate that. I'll try to get him on. I think it would be interesting, and I'll treat him fairly. You know that. I don't gotcha any of my guests. I'll tell them up front if I'm going to ask them a hard question that I got some hard questions for you. If you don't want to answer them, then because there's nothing to be gained from that. But yeah, I'd like to interview Fidel Adams. I'd like to do that. I was thinking about making a video about his, the criminal case he's filed against Helen Zille. And it's as long as I don't mention Helen Zille in Israel. Yeah. Every time we ask our counselor to fix a street light or fix a pothole, reported, but no resource to fix it. Piss off DA, says Artie. Poland is cold but conservative. Yeah, it's true. And you don't put up with a lot of the crap. Look at how Wally Road, was that his name? Wally Road, the fake general in the SAPs, tried to pretend that, or tried to claim that the Poles were racist. Oh, they're racist. They won't let us off the plane. No. You submitted a country clearance with 2 aircraft and 21 people. You arrive with 2 aircraft, crew-served weapons, grenades, cases full of military hardware, and 50 people. That is not what was on your country clearance. You're not getting in here. Yep. Got an H-1B visa from a group that was recruiting South Africa. That was in 2009. I think you still need an H-1B from a company. Green card lottery or many, Chris. I'm not sure where you're going, Bianca. H-1B visas are almost exclusively given to Indians. 70% of them go to people from the Indian subcontinent. But yeah, you can get one if you're in the tech field or you do genetics or something like that. Yellowstone will erupt within a year, intelligence reports say. Well, that's bad news. That's bad news. The Yellowstone caldera means the end of life as we know it, folks, if it actually explodes. Do not blame the people who came, destroyed their culture, and had no respect for that. I know what you're talking about, PK. Yep. H-2A visa. Yeah, that's farm workers. I said H-1B. Yeah. What are you talking about? Seasonal, that's correct. And we have a lot of South Africans. In fact, one of my friends, Paul Farrell, comes to the States and does that, among many others. And another South African who's an African hunter just recently asked me. Okay, cool. All right, we're good. Neil got thanks. All right, Neil DeBeer will be on the program at 7 p.m. Thursday. All right? 7 p.m. Thursday. So we'll have Neil DeBeer on the program. We're going to talk about all this stuff. So there you go. So Fatima, I suspect you'll be here to listen to that. Let's get the UIM crew in here and get the numbers up. You notice the numbers have been up lately. Let me take a look, folks, how things are going. The last two videos I did last night don't seem to have the same sort of traction. They got a little bit of traction. So I did Trump's foreign aid pause. And that one, I put a lot of energy into it. I have 4,000 views on that. So, okay, but not great. It's already slowed down. And then the one I did about Carl Niehaus, I knew not many people were going to watch that, but I did it anyway. 1,700 views. I did it anyway because I thought it was important to do that. So the Gate McKenzie video, I'm going to do another one on Gate because that's getting a lot of traction. That one is currently approaching 45,000 views. That's awesome. Still going up, although not like yesterday. It's going up at a rate of about, well, now it's dropped to 300, but it was about 500 per hour, 600 per hour for the past few hours. So that's awesome. Why would the Taliban be meeting with India? I don't know, Holden. I'm unaware they did that. Navajo people detained by ICE was real. Okay, Steak. Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me of that, Steak. Thank you very much for that. So my apologies for how I came across on that because I realized after the fact I might have been a little bit snarky or dismissive. I did research that based on the fact that you pointed it out here. Thank you for that. I looked it up and the media lied. And that's why people. So what I said wasn't incorrect, but I probably should have addressed it a little bit differently. No one's chastised me for that. That's me chastising myself. So what happened was that not on the installation, not on the reservation, but out in public on the rest of the country, they were detaining or they were looking for criminal alien invaders who they had warrants on. They had a person at a place. They detained everyone there, and the one person, because a lot of Native Americans have similarities physically to Hispanics, because a lot of Mexicans are mixed with indigenous peoples since they have those looks. Anyway, the person had no identification on them. You're not required to carry identification in America. And so they didn't have an ID card on them. I don't know if they don't have an ID card. So they couldn't identify the person. The person identified themselves, but they couldn't confirm. There's no way to confirm it. So they detained the person and questioned them for a little while. They didn't arrest them. They were detained. I mean, the police can do that under reasonable grounds because they were looking for this other person. They were unsure if this was the person looking for. So what happened was that person was allowed to use their cell phone. They called back to the DNA reservation and got a copy of their Native American paperwork showing that they're a member of that tribe. That paperwork, which I'm unfamiliar with, presumably has a photograph on it. And it was cleared up and the person was released. That was turned into a story that the ICE is raiding Navajo reservations and taking away Navajos and shipping them out of the country, which is a complete lie. But, that's typical. Just like the foreign aid has been canceled. No foreign aid has been canceled. That's not even legal. The president can't simply cancel the foreign aid. It's public law. We must execute it. Unless there's a legitimate reason to freeze it, which is what's happened. Yep. Road Wolf says, ask Neil how idolizing Marxists like Mandela has helped South Africa. Okay. 4 more soldiers killed fighting war. Yeah, no, that's, I've talked about that, Fatima, earlier. I also did a video on that story the other day. So, yep. Thank you for that. We talked about that earlier. PEPFAR contributes 17% of $44 billion to HIV program according to ANC. Yeah. See, now they're trying to mitigate it, but we buy the antiretrovirals. And you wouldn't have any antiretrovirals if it wasn't for us. We developed them. And that's what's lost in the mix here. Our neighbor just returned from USA. He's going to tell all about... Okay, well, Vilma, that'd be interesting. Holden Caulfield says, I suppose it was for the poppy for the Indian pharmaceutical. Yeah, I don't know, Holden. I don't know. What completely stuns me is why nobody has given white South Africans refugee status yet. It's not as if we aren't living in a nightmare. Well, very few white South Africans have. No one's going to just give you refugee status. You're not going to go, oh, hi, we are Montenegro. All white South Africans have refugee status. No, you have to apply for refugee status. If you haven't applied for it, then you can't say when someone doesn't give you. There are people in Canada, people in the United Kingdom, and even some South Africans who are white in America who've gotten refugee status. Not many here, just a handful. But yeah, absolutely. Difficult to have air support when the Air Force can't fly out of Polokwane. Exactly. Yep. What else you got here? Read the whole DA press release on their website. About what? Okay, Mike, see, that's not helpful. What do you want me to read? Are you telling me to read it? And what do you want me to read about the whole thing? I watched it. So I'll go to their website. Let's go take a look. Go to the DA. Democratic. There was nothing there this morning before the press conference. There was nothing. Okay, I'm going to their website now. Party of National Government Rescue. That's what they keep calling themselves. That's a joke. Okay, so there's the website. So what am I looking for? Their newsroom? I'll go to their newsroom. Newsroom. President must immediately address nation after troops reported captured in DRC. That's been debunked. I don't know if that's true, that they've been captured. Immediate restoration of PEPFAR funding. Is that it right there? Corrupt tenders, trial to treason. Application for upcoming local government. That's what the press conference was about, not about EWC. Debate on the Sandef calamity. Well, why are they calling for it now? Why wasn't this being called for in December when nobody was being killed? Or back in August when 7 other soldiers were killed? See, this is just nonsense. I clicked on newsroom. The PEPFAR thing. Got it. Thank you. But see, you got to give me the information. I know what's going on. So DA, as part of South African Government National Unity, calls the United States government to lift the 90-day suspension on PEPFAR-funded treatment for South Africa. Sudden halt to funding has resulted in suspension of critical health services. So that's not true. That's not true. So you're just as guilty as the ANC, DA. Thanks for reading my question. I think it's pertinent as we as South Africans shift our mindset away from the prescribed narratives that trapped us on ANC rule, says Rodolph. Okay, the logo for DA looks like Obama's logo. It does. She's been worried about members dying from HIV now. The U.S. isn't sending free meds. Yep. Refuge for what? Whites are safe in complexes in the States. All right, if you say so. Okay, so yeah, I will delve into this DA thing and that Emma Louise Powell. I'll take a look at that and see what's going on. Here's some pictures of her on her Instagram account. Let me see. She looks very young. Yeah, there she is. It's a nice smile. It's a nice smile. Oh, come on. I hate this because I'm not signed in. It won't let me go in here. So anyway, yeah, Emma Louise Powell. All right. So you got to be signed in to get in there. Okay, Arctic just gave a super chat. Oh my goodness, I won't shake the bell because it hurts his feelings. France discussing sending troops to Greenland with Denmark. What? France is really pushing their luck. Do they not see what's happened to Canada, Mexico, and Colombia in our hemisphere? You want to piss with the Don? You want to piss with the Don? Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something here. People are going to learn the hard way that this is a bad plan. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not what you want to do in this day and age. You don't want to mess with the Don. And I'll tell you why. This is why you don't want to mess with the Don, ladies and gentlemen. Because fuck around and find out. Once in a distant land came a savior known as the Teflon Don. The Teflon Don was known throughout the land as the man who came on the scene, and each time he was challenged, he'd say, fuck around and find out. Watch now for the tales of the Teflon Don as he battles Colombia, Mexico, and Canada. Chantel Jenkins just gave 5 gifted memberships. Thank you for that, Chantel. That's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. Thank you very much. Why is this thing not? There we go. It's hard to get rid of that thing. All right, so there you go. Back here. We're still over 100? We're over 100. And, Zenik. Thank you. I got to do 5 of these now. Zenik, Craig Adams, Galactic. Who else? John Van Eden. That's 4. Ronell. Oh, Ronell got one too. Cool, Craig Adams. Cool beans. Ronell is a moderator on the channel. Ronell was a big help, man. She was really helped me get my trip started in 2020. It was fantastic. And I guess I'm not as popular as I once was, because all the enthusiasm and support for my trips isn't quite the same on my future trips. But people ask me, Ronaldo asked me, how's this trip compare to your first one? Well, nothing can compare to the first trip. Everybody's so excited about me coming. I had a great time. Thank you, Galactic. Shawnee Gross says, woohoo! France is already trying to lead Europe into an anti-American federation, thanks to you guys. Yeah, well, France is going to learn the hard way that that's not going to work. During the 1960s, Charles de Gaulle tried to destroy America's economy by collapsing the dollar by making a run on gold. He colluded with other nations to get French banks and other banks around the world to make a run on the dollar by demanding gold. At the time, you were authorized $35 an ounce was the set price, and you could redeem dollars. You could actually take these and take them to the central bank and ask for gold, and we had to give you gold. That was how it worked. So Nixon took us off the gold standard, and to this day, uninformed people that know nothing about economics are like, "Whoa, you need about the gold standard. You got to be on the gold standard. Paper money's just speculation." Gold speculation. It's all speculation. It's only worth what people are willing to pay for it, folks. A.B. de Villiers returns to cricket. Wow. Okay. Neville's very tired. I'm sorry to hear about your mom there. Hopefully she'll perk up. That's tough, I'm sure. I'm sorry, Neville. Tough stuff there. I didn't have to watch it before my eyes, but my mother clearly, just before she died, had really declined immensely. It was something else. Chantel, thank you for your super chat of 14 Rand. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. We're coming up the end of the month. So a number of things happen as we get close to the end of the month. I look to see how close I am to topping last year or last month's solar production. Had snow, and for a week I couldn't get any damn solar production, but it's been sunny the past few days, and we've gone past last year in January. I think last year in January I had like 340. This year, 368, and I've got the rest of today. I've only got 9 already. 9 by 1 o'clock. That's a lot already for a... That's a lot already for this time of year. I guess because the angle of the sun, getting more of it earlier in the morning than we usually do. So, than I usually do. So, yeah, I got 29, 30, 31. 3 more days after today to push that up over 400, which would be cool. That's a far cry from what you get in the summertime. But I got 29.2 kilowatt hours yesterday. I used about 17 per day, so I actually banked a little bit yesterday. It's pretty good. But there was a week there it was really ugly this month. So that, and also take a look at what's going on in the revenue for the channel. So let me take a look. Earlier it was, there's Erica gifting memberships again. Earlier it was a day behind for the revenue. They're always behind YouTube. Yeah, still a day behind. Let me refresh this page and make sure. So they don't have yesterday's revenue. But I'm actually making a little bit of money because I'm getting money off adverts. Thank you, Dirt Diver. Yeah, it's still behind a day because I'm getting a little bit of revenue from the ads each day because a lot of videos are being watched. That's pretty cool. A lot of views, which adds up. So it's not enough to live off of, but it helps. Frenchy, funny church. That's interesting. So, by the way, yesterday, folks, we have 51,509 views. And also, last night, I caught YouTube actively deleting my views. Theodoros, thank you. Yeah, YouTube last night, I watched them. There's 2 things I've noticed this week, and I did a little short, and I showed it. I was watching my one video that was getting a lot of likes. Timothy Bentley, thank you. I was watching my likes come, and little thumbs up, it jumps up, and I watch boom, 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 like 20 times. I'm not embellishing, over the course of just a couple minutes. And Tyler, thank you, Tyler Dugan. Yep. So over the course of a couple minutes, like 20 likes came in, and the like number only went up 4 times. So that's 16 likes that weren't counted. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube is doing that. It's just a software error or if it's intentional shadow banning. But what I do know is that last night I was watching stuff, and let me see if I can find this. Well, this morning, actually. 6 to 7, 7, 8. Okay, then the number. This is weird. The number's gone back up. So this has gone back and forth. So from 6 to 7 this morning, let me see, 4 o'clock. It was 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, the number was, I forget the number now. I think it was like, now it's 1,007. The numbers don't make any sense. They went from like 1,300 to 800, and now they're back to 1,000. Low IQ is given 10 Australian dollars. Keep it up. Thank you, Low IQ. I appreciate that. So, yeah, 51,500. That's the best day we've had in a while. Let me take a look, and I'll see. Let me look at the numbers. That's the last 28 days. We'll go for the last 90 days. And yesterday was the second best day I've had in the last 90 days. On November 4th, we had 61,000. That's the day before the election. 61,800 people tune in. So that's the best we've had since then. We had a long, from right after that, from November 5th, November 7th, all the way up until December 28th, 2 months, only no views. But since December 8th, or December 27th, we've really taken off, and we're doing better. So over the past year, hang on a second, let's see the last year, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days with that kind of level. over the past year, which is not a lot. We need to have every day 50,000. So anyway, lifetime, we're looking pretty good here this time of year. So looking good as the numbers going up. But it comes in waves sometimes. But right now we're gaining more subscribers, and that's what really matters because that's where it pays off. By the way, we're approaching 5 million views on this channel. Add that to the 3 million views on the other channel. And, you know, so, and then the rugby channel, which has, I think, 1 million views. So we're approaching 10 million views before too long. That's pretty cool. Nobody's more hated than people who speak the unfiltered truth. You're right, Ravani. That's true. It's intentional. I've watched my comments disappear so many times. Only after the third or fourth try does it get put up. Yep, Charmaine. Your video today on the aid pause was amazing. I really appreciate it. Well, thank you very much for that, Dave. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm trying to put in cultural references, which not everybody in South Africa gets, but a lot of people do. Like I did the one the other day. So send a negotiator. Anyone else want to negotiate? Now, I cut the part out where he shot the alien because, you know, YouTube would censor that. Also, I would like to show the video footage of the South African National Defense Force and their poor fire discipline in Goma. But if I put that on here, I'll get censored and get a strike because it's a censorship channel. So, yeah, probably poor software and shadow banning. Yep. Colonel, I noticed it's not obligatory for Americans to salute with headdress on. Gary, no. So, for instance, last night I went to a township meeting about local zoning. They want to build a church, and the church is approximately 2.5 kilometers from, maybe 3 kilometers from my house. It won't really affect me directly, although it will in some way. And Dan has become a member. Hey, Dan. Thank you for your membership. So, well, you've been a member for a long time, Dan. Sorry, that's your Maori. It just gave me that. So thank you for that. Yeah, so this church, they want space for 1,500 congregants. When I went to the meeting, I said, that's not a church, that's a cathedral. Anyway, so I went there last night, and we did the Pledge of Allegiance. As a retired military member, we're legally authorized to always salute. We can salute for the national anthem, for the Pledge of Allegiance. In the past, we were only allowed to put our hand over our heart, but military who were no longer serving can salute for that. So I always salute for that. So I was the only person in the place who saluted indoors. Yeah, so we don't have to have cover on to salute. YouTube shadow ban me for, I can comment on streams, but my comments never gain traction. When I post one on a video, they don't delete the comment, but nobody can read or reply to them. Interesting, Ravani. Interesting. Beth Frazier. Wow, Beth. Wow, what's going on? Beth just gave a super chat. Did that come up on the screen already? I didn't hear it, but I'll do it now. $10. Thank you, Beth. Appreciate that. Do you have hope that YouTube will stop shadow banning censorship in any point in the future? Well, I think they've eased it considerably. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any channels. But they've left the whatever they got on the channels, they've left them on some of the channels. Like, for instance, let me just give you a perfect example of this. So I did a video about Trump. Let me see which one it was. Trump spanks a Colombia, Gustavo's Petro, right? I did that one. That video has 4,300 views on this channel. Now, this channel is slightly larger than the original channel now because we've had a great surge in subscribers over the past 3 weeks. So we're now larger at 21,000, whatever, 22,000. So we're larger, but not much larger. At the time I published that video a few days ago, we were almost the same size, almost within 100 subscribers. 4,300 views on this channel, which gets a lot of attention because YouTube servers in South Africa promote it sometimes, and 168 views on my original channel with 21,500 subscribers. 168 views. 168 views. Seriously? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, yeah, that's just insane. But whatever. I don't want to whine about that stuff. So, let's keep it going. I want to get 25,000 here quickly as possible. They probably have lots of antitrust lawsuits going on. Holden, I have no idea. I don't keep up with it. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's amazing the difference, isn't it? I mean, so that's a story about America, and a large chunk of my subscribers on the original channel are American subscribers, yet only 168 views on the same video. It's the exact same video. I put a different banner up, so I mean that could contribute to it, but that doesn't explain 4,200 views difference between the two. And we're not talking about 32,000 versus 28,000. We're talking 4,300 versus 168. That's just nonsense. Coming late, says Dave, so I missed a lot, but the Trump Colombia thing is so nuts. It wasn't it incredible? He did it on the golf course, man. At what time do you go out on the other channel? Jenkins, I'm not doing many live streams on the other channel. I just do them episodically because I don't get rewarded. It's a lot of work and a lot of effort. I'm just keeping the channel going for those who subscribe to it, and I put mostly U.S. political stuff on there. John Jarvis made the point, which is really actually already the focus, is that this channel is mostly global and South African news and videos. Most of my videos produced here are focused on South Africa, not exclusively, but mostly. I only put U.S. stuff up when it might be of global interest, but most of the U.S. specific stuff goes on that channel. So yeah, I tried when I restarted the channel, when they gave remember that channel was removed by YouTube for 23 months. I appealed it 3 times and they finally restored it because it was never legitimate to take it down in the first place. So they gave it back after Susan Wojcicki left YouTube and then died of cancer 6 months later. They gave my channel back when she left. So from that time, I tried to do Night Owls on there. I'd do the news here and then go over to that channel. But a handful of you went over there, and I'm grateful for that, for the people who went over there. And I enjoy the Night Owls. But if I'm not going to draw an audience, it's a lot of energy and a lot of effort. So I don't get paid for this. I mean, the Super Chats don't cover my expenses. Tyler says, 8 days into Trump's presidency, hasn't stopped the Ukraine war as he promised on day one. Yeah? What do you want, Tyler? Very observant of you. 8 days into Donald Trump's presidency, and the price of eggs has barely gone down. Ooh. Wow. Wow. That's just a silly comment, Tyler. Oh, you like the pink Valentine's gnome. I'm glad you noticed it, Beth. Yep. They sell those at Walmart for $8. I paid $1.25 at the Dollar Tree for the same thing. People have to be more discerning. Sorry, a second here. So I'm sorry, Neil was sending me a note. I just got it. Yeah. So what exactly is your point there, Tyler? Are you going to share? I mean, very observant of you. 8 days since President Trump became the president, and the world has not been hit by an asteroid impact that darkened the skies and killed all vegetation. Exactly, Neville. He's not Harry Potter. Mr. Potter. Tyler, you don't have to make a silly comment. You'll get noticed. Just ask a question or say something. Yeah. No, but the left is doing that. Oh, it's so folks, this is a video I would put on the other channel, but it won't get any views, and it takes a lot of time to edit and prepare this stuff. I mean, last night I sat down at my computer at 11 o'clock and I decided to do 2 videos last night. I did the video on Carl Niehaus and the one on Trump's foreign policy. It took me from 11 p.m. to make some notes for me to, remind me as I'm recording it what I need to talk about, and make a few lines of script because I have to quote things specifically. So that stuff I actually put there. That's after stuff comes out of my head. Put that together, basically a script, then to record it, then to edit each of the videos, then to add the audio and or the clips. And because YouTube censorship and copyright bogus claims, I have to be very careful and make sure I stay under the certain limit there. So that takes a lot of time. But that took me last night 4 hours. I mean, it takes time to do these things. So anyway, asteroid during Trump's time would actually be entertaining. It's the best asteroid. What will happen to all the people who are opposing Trump on his banning of DEI? Well, he's only banned DEI in government. He can't ban it in society. He can't even ban it in schools. The federal government doesn't control schools. That's controlled locally and by the states. So he can cut funding for schools that pursue it, any federal funding, that's for sure. But most schools don't get that much in the way of federal funding. It's mostly inner city schools that get it, and they're going to do it because inner city schools are chock full of people of color. And so they're going to do it anyway. Answer Rich just went live. Okay, what's he talking about? The real question is, as an ex-soldier, what's your opinion of the North Korean tactics and soldiers currently in Ukraine? Well, I mean, I'm getting conflicting reports about the North Koreans. The Ukrainians are saying they're very fine soldiers. They're very talented. And then just a few weeks ago, they're claiming they're just attacking mass waves like dumb idiots, like the 16-year-olds that the Iranians sent out to walk through the minefields in the Iraq-Iran war, getting dismembered, blowing up mines because they have mine clearing equipment. So I really don't know what to think of the North Koreans. I'm not impressed. They're not stupid, that's for sure. I saw the stick figure training they had on how to draw Ukrainian drones out in the open by freezing and stopping while a hunter-killer team takes out the drone. That's pretty clever, actually. Really rudimentary what they have to plan and execute it, but they're not entirely stupid. I think it's a foolish waste of life, but then I think the entire Ukraine conflict is a foolish waste of life. I think Gaza is a foolish waste of life, but the reason Gaza exists is because of Hamas and what they did on October 7th. They brought this on themselves. Fuck around and find out. Yep. They are cannon fodder. Yep. I've seen horrible videos of doctors and teachers threatening Trump and ICE if they come. Oh, well, by the way, Ruvani, if I had time, which I haven't had, maybe because I took a little time for myself yesterday, my intent was to take a bunch of those clips and put them together. Those people are all felons. They're all felons. They're committing felonies. They are announcing their intent to harbor fugitives, criminal alien invaders. Harboring a criminal alien invader fugitive is a 5-year federal felony conviction. So they can run their mouth all they want. They can talk all the big game and smack they want. But let me tell you something. They had better hope that the government doesn't have time to deal with them, because every one of them could find themselves. And I think we need to make examples of some of them, especially teachers. Teachers, these woke goobers who run around with multiple pronouns and, and wave LGBT flags and, and groom children. We should make example of some of those folks and prosecute them for their crimes to dissuade other people, deter other people from behaving in this fashion. What they're doing is a crime. You're not going to come to my school. We're going to hide people, giving people advice on how to avoid immigration authorities. It's a criminal act. Did you cover the Susie, Elon, and Trump situation today? It feels like asking. It's okay, Dave, to ask it. I don't know what situation's going on. You're talking about Susie Wiles, the chief of staff? I had no idea. I mean, I was up all night. I hadn't slept since Sunday. I did 2 videos last night, and I did the live broadcast of the DA, which is incredibly disappointing this morning. Then I took a couple-hour nap. I got up for this. I researched the news to see what was new. It wasn't new when I did that, but that's now 4 hours ago when I researched the news. So if it happened in the last 4 hours, I'm unaware of it. What's going on with Susie Wiles and with Elon Musk? Yeah, Victoria Newman played a major role. Yeah, she did, Holden. That's true. She doesn't anymore. Yep. Law should be very hard on people that groom children. Exactly. 100%. I agree with you 100%. So let me see something here very quickly here. Oh, we've been on for 2 hours, man. Wow, I didn't realize that. Gosh bless it. Some long streams we got going here. Okay. We have 1,900 for that one this morning, so that's pretty good. My last 4 live streams, which I won't be able to keep this pace up because one was the John Steenhuisen press conference. That was 5,300 views. Then the Sunday edition, which is 1,000. I think a lot of people were curious to see what my lives were like, so they came in afterwards to see that. And then yesterday, the new sheriff in town, that was kind of a clickbaity thing because Trump is a new sheriff, and that got people's attention. That got 900 views. And then the one this morning, 1,900 views for the DA press conference. This one's at 425, which is a little more. I'm sorry, 770. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, okay. Chantel says we love you. Well, thank you, Chantel. It's very kind of you. Very kind of you. All right, so Colombia. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, took those flights quick, sharp. Yep, Craig Adams, you're right. People are taking off. Neville, take care of your mom, and y'all take care. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks. Hit the like button. I think I'm going to sit down. I got to pull some tax stuff up and go over that. And then I have a Christmas tree that I purchased that was a $500 Christmas tree, and the discount warehouse had it on sale for like $150 after Christmas to get rid of it. It's 9 feet tall. It reaches my ceiling, and it has an incredible series of lights on it. So I put it together yesterday to make sure all the lights worked, and it did work. So I got to look at that. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap it up here, but I'll probably make a video this afternoon if I get around to it, analyzing the DA's response, and also go take a look at this woman, Emma Powell, from the DA. All right. So we'll see what we're doing. All right, you guys take care. Yeah, I love a good deal too. Top Man Colonel, just need to start supporting the Bulls. I do support the Bulls, but not when they're playing the Stormers. Not when they're playing the Stormers. Not when they're playing the Nicklins. All right, $500 for a tree. Don't say stuff like that while asking for super chats. I didn't pay $500. You're not listening, Arctic. You're not listening. I paid less than a third of that price. 20% of that price is what I paid. It was a bargain. I bought it for the Veterans Organization, and then it turned out the one we had was okay, so I was stuck with it. So it's here at the house. All right, guys. Y'all take care. When I said I bought it for them, it was out of my own pocket, so that's why I have it. So, all right. So, really, I know you're joking around, but we got Officer Tatum who makes millions of dollars from his super chats. Not celebrate Christmas 3 years. Love to see that. Oh, really? Wow. Yeah, Arctic, it's a 9-foot tree that has lights on it, and it does multiple things. $3 gas money, go cut it off, huh? Yeah, it already has lights. It's pre-lit. I don't really like them, but it was pretty cool. So again, I bought it for someone else. Let's get rid of the IRS. Yeah, I'm for that. I'm for that. All right, guys. Cheers. See you either on my videos later on or tomorrow. We've got Wednesdays with the Colonel tomorrow, and then Thursday, Neil DeBeer will be on the program. Neil DeBeer. Cheers, everybody. Size does matter, Artie.